Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting all magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North America, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Best.
TV.
To this day.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting all magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North America, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blast.
Crumb TV.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Third Eye Thursdays. You are now rocking with the best, yes. That right there. That's that theta waves. That's that theta waves featuring the twin pillars, red and blue pillar. All right, off the Twin Pillar album. Coming very soon. Y'all look out for that. A lot of projects in the holster right now. You feel me? We just building up that energy. You feel me? But trust and believe we're gonna come with that good sound, that good music, what the people been waiting for. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because music right now they need resuscitation. So the pillar's gonna bring that sound. The same way that we brought that sound 10 years ago, you know, with the Scorpion King. So 10 years later, we even doing it greater. You know what I'm talking about? So first and foremost, welcome to the program. Welcome to the platform on this beautiful Thursday. I hope everybody in the building is here in the best of health, both mentally, physically, emotionally. You know what I'm talking about? Financially. Yeah, I mean, I hope that check clears and everything is muy bien. All right. Shout out to everybody that was with us yesterday on WTF Wednesday. That was just a random broadcast out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And we was in a building 1,000+ deep. So I appreciate everybody that pulled up. We had real fun dropping them gems, getting that information out there and whatnot. Man, it's just keep coming though. It's nonstop. It's not. I literally could have did a show later on that night with more information that just started flowing. It's like the faucets are open. The faucets are open. This fire horse thing is really giving what it's supposed to give. This whole fire horse year, boy, whoo, shit burning. You know what I mean? It's been nonstop infernos ever since, even to this point. Yeah. Once again, pray for Colombia. They had the floods. Now they got the fire, purification. This is Colombia. A goddamn, I didn't even know they had volcanoes. What are we talking about? Did y'all know they have volcanoes in Colombia? And how the volcano, this is a volcano that just went off in Colombia yesterday, right? A volcano of fire? A volcano with fire? I didn't know they had volcanoes in Colombia. That wasn't on the goddamn that wasn't on the Wikipedia when I was reading it. They got volcanoes in the rainforest? Nah, Sway. That don't nah. Wait, are you dumb? Allegedly. They call it a mud volcano. I never heard of a mud volcano. I never know there was yeah, there's volcanoes everywhere, but I just didn't know it was in Colombia. You feel me? So this happened yesterday. No seismic activity, nothing, no warning, randomly. Now, the only other thing it could have been is the gringos fucking around in Latin America. That's the only other thing it could have been is the gringos. Because this ain't coming from the government. This not no government shit. Okay, this ain't the rebels, my G. This some else. But this is Colombia though, you know, and it's not Photoshop either. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. I just had to throw that out there. Yeah, pray for Colombia. You know, we hope nobody got harmed. And yeah, the earth is waking up. And we say pray for Colombia, not in we saying a pray that this waking up that we're saying, this pray that it keeps up, pray that Pachamama keeps rising up, pray that the ancestors in El Andalus in Latin America, what they call South America, stand up. There, pray that they keep waking up. You talk about Leviathan, nigga. We the Leviathan. We the Leviathan. Our spirit is the Leviathan. Our memory is the Leviathan. You know what I'm talking about? They're talking about, oh, the Leviathan is waking up. You is waking up. It's you damn right is waking up. You know? But when people are looking for actual dragon, I say you the last dragon. I say that you the last dragon. Somebody said that the ancestors is mad that they didn't show you enough love. I would reinterpret that. I would say that the ancestors have been showing. I got shown so much love when I went out there. I got shown so much love that the ancestors woke right on up. You know what I'm talking about? I would say that I got shown so. Whatever I experienced, I expected to experience. There had to be some type of pushback because they felt that force. Believe you me, when I get my footage, when the brother Ghost finally gives me my footage that he has for about a month now, then I'll be able to show what really was going on out there. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about it. I want to show it. You know, I want to talk. I want to show it. Because it's damn sure the visuals will speak for themselves. The visuals will speak for themselves. But it's a Moorish saga going on right now. And it's a quote unquote, it's not only a Moorish saga, this shit goes back into Atlantis. This is a Lemurian, saga. You feel me? They call it a Moorish tragedy. It's a Lemurian Atlantean saga going on when you tap into those areas over there. That whole area is waking up. Look how many gods and goddesses is in Brazil. Look how many gods and goddesses is just in Cuba, the Caribbean, and Haiti alone. They are beginning to rise up. I have to give credit is due, and it's not singling out, but you got to give credit to what's going on in the United States of America as the spark, as the initial spark. All fires start from somewhere. All fires have a spark and whatnot. That spark, in my humble opinion, on 125th Street. Can I get an amen or a one in the chat? If you were there, if you witnessed it, if you were a part of it, if you felt it. And I'm not talking even before YouTube. You had to be in New York City lockdown, early 2000s, not to take anything away from what the elders like Baba Samaj, Dr. Ben, and all of that was doing. No, I'm not taking anything away from what they were doing because they were the catalyst. They helped to bring something. But when Bobby and Phil and all of it's not just Bobby and Phil and Delbert, it was the lectures, it was the lecture circuit, it was Eye Opener Productions, it was Brother Big Man, it was Brother SKOOL, it was the 500 DVDs, the 500 VHSs literally turning into goddamn blockbuster video for the gods. UCLA, University of Consciousness on Lexington Avenue, taking over the bookstores and all of these iconic quote unquote institutions that were up when Malcolm X was out there. And then even prior to that, when Marcus Garvey was in Harlem. You feel me? It's not on TV yet, So people don't even realize what took place if they got on these apps later on in life. It's real hard to even understand the history that I'm trying to entail, because it's been so overlooked. It's been so it's just been covered up with so much. It's been a mud flood over the history of New York City consciousness. There was a mud flood. It's been, the waters had gotten muddied. They put poison in the water. They put venom in the water. They put toxicness in the water. You feel me? They poisoned the skies, which were the airwaves, rumors, backbiting, arguments, all of that nigger shit, all of that jealousy, envy, hate. You know, the four evils invaded around when it shouldn't have, when it should have been preserved. It should have been kept like anybody would keep any type of priceless and valuable, quote unquote, items, heirlooms, but it wasn't. So people are not necessarily privy to the knowledge of the history as to what actually was going on, and then how that set off. You know, I don't like using this word in a connotative way, but the 100 monkey theory, right? We'll look it up, or the 100 monkey, quote unquote, formula. And that was basically a scientific experiment where they were studying a group of monkeys in the northern hemisphere, and they observed a group of monkeys do something in terms of, you know, perfecting a way to catch insects. They simplified their hunting methods, and then right at the same time, another group was observing monkeys in the southern hemisphere, and then that group of monkeys, they started doing that at the same time, at the same damn time. They didn't have no communication with that isolated group of monkeys in the northern hemisphere. So what does that mean? That means that there's no such thing as distance, especially when we are quantum entangled and whatnot. You know, that was superpositioning and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? That's almost a form of, you know, what Bruce Lipton talks about with epigenetics and whatnot. So when we turn on, we turn others on who are connected to us through these haplogroups, through our DNA, through these strands and whatnot. When certain lights come on in our minds, when we observe certain things, others can observe it as well, as long as they're connected to the Godhead. So there's proof of work to say that there is a Godhead, and there's proof that when we woke up, when there were certain awakenings taking place in one borough, like in 2 or 3 boroughs of New York City and whatnot, without the internet, without social media, without people getting online, it began to spread through the grid. It began to spread through the quote unquote air. It began to spread through people's DNA and whatnot. Fast forward to damn near 30 years later, I am watching and I am witnessing other groups of melanated people around the world come into their awareness, come into their consciousness, come into who they are. Yes, it's going to be rough around the edges in the beginning. Yes, there's going to be, that's why there's the diaspora and all of that stuff. But even through all of that, people are learning. There's a learning process taking place. Yes, there's people that are angry. There's groups of angry people. But I'm just here to let you know, niggas have always been angry. We were angry when we woke up. We were angry for about 10 years. We could not shake the anger. We was angry as hell. Oh my goodness. Then when we found out about the Moorish information, what do you mean we're not black? I'm angry. They stop calling me black. Stop calling me African American. Stop calling me this. What is your nationality? You know, it just started going crazy. So we owe it to ourselves not to brag, not to boast, not to be arrogant, right? But to be steadfast, right? And to take this shit to a whole nother level, because those levels and whatnot, those are levels that have been already done and they've been fried like fricassee. So yeah, the YouTube thing, it seems a little bit of, repetitive only when you're not doing anything. This YouTube shit turns into fun when you travel in the world, when you could touch each part of the goddamn planet and affect it. This shit is fun when you see your impact, when you travel the world, when you leave your little cupboard or your cubicle or your man cave or your wherever you at, your block, your hood, whatever you call it, right? And you go outward, you begin to stretch out, right? And you begin to go forth. You will be like, God damn, I could see the impact, or I see where I can impact. Because I could literally go to Colombia right now with 2 suitcases of product, right? It would be DVDs, right? Of like it would be DVDs. It would be the whole collection from Harlem translated in Spanish. I would have about 1,000 titles. Then I would have pamphlets. Then I would have books. And then I would have just images to hand out. Like I would just be handing out because I blackwash all my artwork. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, I blackwash all of my artwork. What does that mean? That means I'll turn it from white to black. I'm taking all of that white, all of the things that they whitewash, and just blackwashing it. It was a little tedious to do before with stuff like Photoshop and whatnot, but now we got Nano Banana. You feel me? Now we got Kling and all of these other tools and whatnot. Those are just the upgrades to Illustrator and Photoshop. It's the same exact thing, because that back in the days, that shit was like AI. If you were to ask, so I'm blackwashing my pictures, I'm blackwashing my shit. And the people in South America, when they get to see things, it's a language barrier, but pictures speak 1,000 words. I don't gotta talk your language. I be like, "Sí, señor, mi amor." You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sí. You know what I'm talking about? We got the technology though. Yeah, shit landed in my hand. We got the glasses and whatnot. So yeah, we could talk. We understand what you're saying now. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we blackwashing. You know what I'm talking about? We blackwashing. We taking the pictures and making them make them great again. Yeah, MAGA, make the Aboriginals great again. Okay. So I would just be handing shit out with some Spanish writing on it. You know what I mean? Wake them niggas up. You know what I'm saying? Because people be sleepwalking. So you gotta do things that is gonna cause a ruckus. Sometimes they're gonna be mad at the. Oh, what do you mean? What is? Okay, look at your dad. You know what I mean? Look at Mr. Conquistador. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? Huh? Tell me, Chico, what's happening? Y'all handing over your gold to the Conquistador? Huh? The same one that got their foot on your neck? Yeah, you might want to talk about that. Ye are rich. Your niggas had gold, and you know what I'm saying? You had caves full of gold. Like, what's popping? Now they got our people living in squalor. Right? So that's not going to last long. I promise you. People ain't going to live like that forever. They're not going to accept that forever. That shit is going to fall real soon. I promise you. I shit you not. Them people are not going to accept the fact that they've been living in as have-nots amongst some people who done stole and pillaged, and I'm talking about from Africa all the way to Latin America. That's the awakening. That's the fire horse awakening. That's what's about to go down. And at the end of the day, either them people are going to show more of their fangs, or they're going to have to do something to acquiesce, because they at their wits end. They like, you know what? We're tired of playing this game of playing nice. That's how they feeling right now. That's how them people is feeling. The conquistadors is like, you know what? I'm tired of playing this game, man. Fuck that. What's you know? Look, the volcano split the earth. So when we talk about the fire horse, right? The ship been given what it's supposed to give, fire by purification. The volcano erupted and cracked the earth open. I hope the religious ones that live in those parts of the world get back into their religion. Because you can't be religious and witness all of the things that's been going on in the last 30 days and not clutch your pearls. Okay? You got to get right with your religion because somebody is saying something. Something's happening.
Tito. Y eso está botando humo, ¿no crees? Sí, claro.
Motherfucking Kraken woke up.
¿Cuántas vacas? ¿Cuántas? Mató como dos o tres.
¿Vacas? Sí. No, hijo de pucha, y esta hora, imagínate. Es como que va la tierra aquí. Es como que no está tierra aquí.
So just to show you the level of explode, they call it a mud volcano. Go and look up a mud volcano. I've never heard of a mud volcano. That don't look like mud. That don't look like mud. That's fire shooting in the sky. You know? So Colombia had water. They have floods. Now they got fires. Right? Let's go back to Mexico where the cartel was tearing shit up. Let's check that out.
Yo soy el gavilancillo que anda por aquí volando. Yo soy el gavilancillo que anda por aquí volando. No se asusten, pichoncito.
Yeah, they back to business. Okay, they back to business because one thing ain't gonna stop. Them tourists are not gonna stop spending their money. I know y'all saw the videos where the white tourists were looting in Mexico, right? I know y'all saw the videos where the the gringos who were tourists were looting, right? And the people were telling them to stop. And they was walking out of liquor stores and everything. Like, man, they was looking like pirates. Did you see that? So my prediction is when I was over there, I came back and I was like, yo, the sentiments that they have against gringos and the sentiments they have against black Romans. What is a black Roman? Niggas that leave America and act like the gringos. Niggas from America to go abroad and act Roman. That's the black Romans. And they doing that. That's the passport bros. Okay. You're going outside of America to solicit prostitution, right? You're not bringing no cultural exchange. You're not teaching them people nothing. You're not bringing any, you're creating, you're messing up the economy. They blowing that dust in your faces and whatnot, lining niggas up, murking niggas. Now people find out about that flower that knocks people out because of Epstein. But they've been doing that. They've been lining people up. They doing a lot of foul-ish outside of the Americas to people because they're tired of them. A lot of people are reaching their breaking point. Okay? So when you when you don't add on, when you're not a part of the contingency that's adding on, when you're not a part of the contingency that's going up against the beast, when you're not making that shit known, the minute they see you, they don't see it. They're not seeing it on these niggas. They don't even know what they're seeing. But they're not seeing freedom fighter. They're not seeing somebody that's spiritually aligned. They're not seeing warrior. They're seeing black Roman. They're seeing a motherfucking opportunist. They're seeing a goddamn pillager. So now the passport bros have turned into a lick. You feel me? Now they out there scouting and now they a lick. So when you think about it, when you move around, you got to move around with that knowledge that you might get quote unquote mistaken for a passport, bro, if you just wanted to travel to South America, Central America, Latin America, Caribbean. They like, yeah, this nigga's a lick. He's a trick. And you might even get mistaken for one of these low lifes. But that's low life activity. You know? That's low life activity. And also with this mud volcano in Colombia, we still have to keep in mind that Venezuela and Colombia are close to one another. Whatever they're doing, they're pillaging the hell out of Venezuela right now. The pirates have descended on Venezuela, and we know that they're pillaging them for their oil. We know that they're pillaging them for their resources. They're stripping them. They're robbing them. They're basically, they're graping the country. The same people from the Epstein list are in Venezuela just doing what they want to do with her, right? So all of that rain built up to all of that rain built up to the volcano. That had to be a lot of rain to set that bitch off, because they said that volcano didn't go off for eons, similar to the volcano that went off in Ethiopia, and it was only like it hadn't erupted in 10,000 years. 10,000 years. But yeah, the world is getting upset, and they like, even look, check this out.
People of color talk about racism. White people really like to be like, oh, but you guys genocided each other, you enslaved each other, you sold each other into slavery. But the Mongols, but the Japanese, but the Ottoman Empire. Name me a single empire by people of color that spanned the entire globe like the British Empire did. Name me a single Asian African empire that wiped out the people of one continent that it colonized so much that it needed to get people from another continent and ship them across the Atlantic Ocean to do the work that they didn't want to do. Name me a single black, brown, or yellow empire that threw its own cultural development out the window in favor of colonizing the entire planet. I'm talking they never developed any good food, their hygiene was lacking, their music was crap, and basically their entire culture they had to get from other people, to the point where chicken tikka masala is their national dish. And this is not to downplay the atrocities of things like the Japanese Empire. I'm Chinese, my ancestors and I all have an issue with them. But in the United States, Japanese people have not subjugated me. In fact, they suffer from the same white supremacy that I do. You want to talk about the Ottoman Empire? Okay. Name me a single country that speaks Turkish on the other side of the world from West Asia because of colonization. Name me a single continent like Australia that black or brown people genocided and almost completely wiped out the native inhabitants, to the point where they're a minority of the population in their own land. There is nothing like the European empires. There is nothing like white supremacy that you can possibly compare it to. Keep digging.
They're gonna one day try to label your good brother Philip Moreland, aka Schoolie Red, aka Red Pillar, anti something or whatever. I know one day they're gonna try to come out with their paintbrush. I just want to let y'all know this, and I want to remind you, because sometimes things could be right in front of your face and you don't even realize it. So tell this to even some of your brethren or friends of other nationalities that be like, damn, why that red pill guy is always hard on us. Listen, for the past 12 months, maybe, or 10, I've been bringing on a council of allies to kick y'all asses. You understand? I've been bringing on the United Nation of ass kickers to drop pieces of garlic on all of you vampires. Okay? And they've been from every single quote unquote nationality that you could think of. I done pulled up with the Red Dot Indians. I came through with the Koreans, nigga. Some of the Filipinos been cooking you. I brought the goddamn my dude, what his name? Sweet Pea. You know what I'm saying? I brought him through. The LBGT white dude is cooking y'all. I brought goddamn Broski O'Donnell, nigga. We brought Broski O'Donnell. So I just let them know that I am an equal opportunity. When they were firing people for DEI, I was picking them up. I brought Broski O'Donnell to the motherfucking table, I am an equal opportunity. I let everybody get their shine. I let everybody get their shine. I wasn't greedy. This is not personal. It's not just a black thing. I've been bringing people of all persuasions, even the mayonnaise meltdown. Ooh, I got a mayonnaise meltdown in the clip tonight. It's gonna blow your it's gonna oh man, it's gonna make your space heater malfunction. God damn it. She about to melt the server. Everybody gets a chance to cook in the ghost kitchen this time. We not holding. This is not personal. This is business, y'all. To all of my friends from other nationalities, just get on TikTok. I'll repost you. You know, there's 1 degree of separation. But don't ever in your life say that I'm one-sided or I got something personal against some group of people. And this has been misproven. That argument is moot. I don't even need court TV to figure that one out. That won't even make it to trial. You know? So I just want to remind y'all that I brought out, this is what Dr. King was wishing for, nigga. Yeah, we shall overcome. I brought him out. Let's go.
I need you guys to understand that capitalism is slavery. Let's get into this. In this extreme capitalism, the United States, the system does not need chains anymore. The new type of chains is bills, interest, credit score. You do have a social credit score, okay? It's just called a credit score. And all these rules that make debt hard to escape. The whole point of this system, this complex system they designed, is not to make people poor. The point is just to make sure it cannot stop. Most of you watching this video are not broke, but you are trapped. You're trapped with rent, insurance, car payment, maybe mortgage, medical bills, credit card interest. Any of these things go wrong, your whole life collapses. Then you all fall on the kill line, which is very hard to come back. Like, for example, why does US healthcare often not tell you the price up front? And then you get a bill later? Because if you saw the price beforehand, you might say no. You might choose something else. And the choice is dangerous. It's dangerous for the system that runs on debt. Same with tuition, credit cards. The real cost is always hidden in the fine print in the contracts. When I look at my credit card bills, there's always some sort of surprise charges. The whole society makes debt feel so normal. Once the debt feels normal, control becomes easy. By the way, you guys do have social credit score. That's basically credit score. If you have bad credit, you can't even rent. You have no place to live if you have a low credit score. And the worst part is debt does not just take money from you. It takes time. You cannot quit, rest. You cannot save anything. Everything goes into debt, into the banks, into the financial system, which serves the top 1%. All your money went into their pocket. You cannot do any risky move, and you are always in this hustle mode. That's not freedom. That's just a leash. And that's also why you see a lot of people moving out of America to another country, trying to break the chain and get away from this toxic system. I have a full article with breakdown on Substack, link in bio. I really appreciate you guys support me there. Thank you very much. Take care.
I'm not making this up. That when I was outside of this country, the minute I got off the plane, right? The minute I left America and got outside of that ley line or whatever that grid may be, and I stepped foot just in Puerto Rico, and then when I stepped foot in Latin America, it felt different. When I found out that I was getting an Airbnb for 39 USD, it just felt different. You know, it just felt different. I understand why people are leaving America. I understand why people are this dream that they sold people. It's not, the shit fell apart. It fell apart. It's not real. We have to have this conversation. We don't have to do anything, but I think that we would come to more conclusions to have a real grown conversation about doing something that's going to create some type of new solutions, right? Because man,
this is a sign that the West is quietly collapsing.
Check it out.
More and more sign that the West is quietly collapsing. More and more people are sleeping in cars, vans, and tents across wealthy nations, once seen as untouchable. Not because they're unemployed, not because they're reckless, but because the price of simply existing has exploded.
So when I think about, what's taking place around America right now, right, where this situation, this phenomenon that this lady is speaking on and whatnot, I was made aware of this a few years ago, right, by people who were basically living in RVs and whatnot. And they were like, yo, we in RV parks, right? We could drive from state to state, and there's RV parks that are literally like little cities and whatnot. Then I remember seeing the tent cities in Philadelphia and in Atlanta in 2020, tent cities, right? So my whole thing is this, right? If we are willing to live in tents and we are willing to live in the vans and whatnot, why don't we go ahead and just go and get the land while it's still affordable? Why doesn't a collective of 100 to 1,000 people come together? And I don't want nobody to say, I don't got it, nigga. You'll get it. Fuck you mean? You gonna get it. There's ways to get it. If you don't got it, if you woke up and you could breathe, my nigga, then we'll show you how you could get it. Fuck out of here with all of that. I don't got it shit. You can't live in that type of excuse no more. If you don't got it, my nigga, then you could get it. There's all type of shit that needs to be done. You gonna work that off. How the Amish is building houses in 2 days. Where's our ant farm? Where and they don't even have electricity. The Quakers and the Amish is putting up houses in 1 day. But I'm here to let you know, if we had our shit together, if we was focused, if we understood what needed to be done and put all of that bullshit to the side, right? All of that fake ass, whatever people be using to stop them from doing anything, we would be a lot further. Why? So if why I would rather throw a tent on my land, you go first and everybody will follow. I'm sorry, Gretchen. I don't want nobody following me when I go first. You're not allowed into what I'm doing if I gotta go first. That's not how I'm moving in 2026. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I'm moving in 2026. I'm not carrying nobody. I'm not carrying nobody, Gretchen. You feel me? I ain't doing shit for nobody. I'm not opening up the door for nobody. At this point in the game, I'm shaking the dead weight off. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't about you do it. No, it's to the point where fuck that. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. They ain't no followers. Everybody is a leader and whatnot. It ain't no followers. They've been in training for years to be leaders. Yeah, Blue Pill has the solution with the farming. I wish he would he goes live on Instagram. I'll start uploading some of them to the tube and whatnot. But Blue is laying it down solution based. The Facts Initiative that started 10 years ago, solution based. You feel me? Very much solution based. And when you see it resurface, is going to be a lot more put together. That was just a framework that we put out there. That was just a framework that we put out there when we launched the Facts Initiative. But what did that idea create? Multiple businesses, multiple entities, multiple brands. I remember talking about food, art, clothing, technology, and shelter in 2016, and it was like people were like, why? Like what does that mean? Like, no, there was a lot of people that it was a smash. People loved that idea. It was great. It was picked up by a lot of people, and people actually got inspired to do their own thing, right? Even if they'll never say it, it doesn't matter, because all I know is that I got on the internet and I started talking about something, and then years later, when I looked around, food is a thing that everybody's into. Art is a thing that people are comfortable saying that they're into, and they're putting it on the internet, and they're living off of their art. They got black boy art shows. None of that existed before that. I would not even, because if I would have been if it existed, it would have been a part of my presentation. Coding. No, first clothing. I could have counted on my hands how many clothing lines was out there pushing comedic consciousness with the motifs and all of that. Shout out to Pharaonic Corporation, right? Shout out to my dude. What's my dude? Damn. Trying to remember. He was out in New York. He was crushing it and shit. You feel me? There was a handful on my hands. Then I remember coming to Atlanta, I seen athletics and whatnot. And he was like, yeah, I was inspired as to what I seen y'all doing and whatnot. That came off the streets of New York City, where people were looking at us like we was like something was lacking in us, because we had the nerve to not be doing a 9 to 5 and punching the clock and going to work. You know how many people talk crazy about the God? Huh? Push back. I didn't even know how to spell entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody was claiming entrepreneur. Nobody was beating on their chest about entrepreneur. All of that, like, bro. I'm looking at old videos. I'm like, yo, what if one of these financial groups got because they said, yeah, what if they got their hands on all of this stuff and just start jacking? Because I promise you, early financial conversations on 125th Street, when you go back and listen to it, if you could even find it, like verbatim, what was being said on 125th Street started to show up on these other platforms. Real talk, verbatim. So there's a lot of foundational entry points, I will call it, right? Because you know, it's imperative to do the proof. It's imperative to do your history. It's imperative to know your proof of work. It's imperative to be able to speak on it, because nobody else will speak on it. They will mud flood you. They will cover you up in mud and then you know, pull your clone out. Them niggas will roll your clones out and completely cover you up in mud and completely erase. Because, you know, people say, oh, niggas be talking a lot. Nigga, are you God or nah? Because first was the word. You got to speak it into existence. What do you mean? I'm doing a roll call. It's people from all around the world on Blog Talk Radio. It's people from all around the world on YouTube. It's people from all around the world that we talk to. What do you mean? Just talking about shit is what's been kicking things off. Niggas could speak worlds into existence. And then you talk on the beat, you rapping and whatnot. And then when you talk on the camera, you just making videos. But what do you mean? It starts with the word. Because the word is a connection to the mind, to the vision, to the brain. We was out there talking. We was talking this, bruh. When they say that there's nothing new under the sun, it's because the shit that y'all witnessing have literally been spoken about for 20 years ago. Dead ass. Literally, I'm talking about there's nothing going on that was not already discussed. There's a lot of people that's coming along later on, and I appreciate them, but they don't even got their fucking facts together. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that they Johnny come latelys. They don't even know what the hell's going on. Their existence is like young Pharaoh, and anything before that, Jamal Rashad. Them niggas don't know anything before that. They don't know nothing before that. So I hear niggas, but I can't listen to them. The fuck out of here. Bro, you came into the game 8 years later. What do you mean? You niggas wasn't even in orientation. Y'all didn't even sit at the foot of nobody. You got a fucking Wi-Fi signal and went off. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even know the history. All y'all know is Sonetta. That's the only name y'all know. Y'all don't know nothing else. Fuck out of here with that stupid shit. Y'all niggas are just discovering Taj Tariq Bey. If you don't have a fucking seat, fam. If you don't have a fucking seat, bro. Niggas is fucking up the airwaves with all of that dumb shit they be talking, bro. Where you come from, where y'all come from. Don't talk about nothing that you don't know, fam. You looking crazy out here. Are you dumb? Nah, for real. Are you dumb? Because y'all sitting around looking real dumb these days. Where's your fucking action at? Where's the action at? I don't see a lot of them outside, bro. The days for being inside. Why y'all not outside? Why did we start outside, but all of these YouTube niggas is inside the house? Y'all don't even travel and shit. Y'all be in your house and whatnot. Y'all be in weird rooms and whatnot. Why y'all don't come outside? Are y'all on house arrest? Are you niggas is on some type of house arrest? Are y'all not supposed to be in other neighborhoods? Like, what's happening, bro? I think these niggas got ankle bracelets. Or they offenders or something. Get outside, man. All of that. Y'all can't be inside the house on YouTube no more. Why don't y'all touch hands with people? Why y'all niggas don't touch grass? Where's the action? We already did the talking. We did the heavy lifting. Why y'all not acting on it? Why y'all out here swagger jacking and taking bars and whatnot? Y'all niggas is plagiarizing, but you're not acting on nothing. You're not acting on nothing. We need more. You need more. We don't see you.
Single minimum wage workers are no longer renting apartments. They're parking behind supermarkets, hiding in industrial zones, and turning back seats into bedrooms. Buying a home has vanished for many. Renting is barely possible. Shelter is becoming optional instead of guaranteed. Full-time workers are being priced out of roofs. Rent now consumes 60 to 70% of paychecks. Food climbs, fuel climbs, utilities climb, but wages barely move. So people adapt the only way they can. In Los Angeles, entire streets glow with van windows at night. In Australia, families sleep near beaches because leases are unreachable. In the UK, van dwellers hide from council fines just to rest without being moved along. The promise used to be simple. Work hard and you'll own a home. But housing stopped being sleeping in cars, vans.
Are you persecuting people who were born 20 years after you? Not really. A lot of the niggas that I'm talking to is old as hell. I ain't talking to nobody born 20 years after. That's not who I'm addressing. You know what I'm saying? And for the young whippersnappers, I don't care if you're 2 years old. Get outside and do something. What are you talking about? If you could sit down and watch a video, then you could do something with yourself.
To 70% of paychecks. Food climbs, fuel climbs, utilities climb, but wages barely move. So people adapt the only way they can. In Los Angeles, entire streets glow with van windows at night.
This is not a bad thing. They will try to paint it like it's a bad thing. This is literally getting back to village. If you really want to talk about it, this is literally getting back to the village way of life. Because some of those people in those parks have more of a connection with one another than these people in these cul-de-sacs. And keyword cold sacks, right? These people in these manicure lawns and whatnot. I never understood that. Why am I cutting my grass? Why I'm talking to the wiz. She like the grass is growing. I'm like, isn't it supposed to grow? What the fuck? Why are we cutting the grass? Why is it getting a Caesar every week or two to look like these people? You know what I'm saying? Why these trees not growing fruits? I feel like I'm living on a fake ass Disney set. Like I want out. So to see people going back this way is only gonna lead to people eventually saying, fuck it, let's just get the land and build the land out. We could start with a tiny home, we could start with a goddamn mud hut. We could build out, because if I seen dudes in cinder blocks in Puerto Rico and in Colombia, I put a cinder block in America. I'm not above that. I will build a whole goddamn cinder block community with 10 roofs on that bitch. With what like I'm not beyond that. And paint that shit with pastel colors the same way I seen it in Puerto Rico. And I'm advising all of the Puerto Ricans that live in America, go to Puerto Rico and go repaint those houses that y'all left out there. That's y'all job to do, since y'all got so much to say about what people over here do. Y'all go to Puerto Rico with some pastel paint and repaint all them houses and put new tin roofs on them bitches, because it looked like the last people to even do anything was the abuelas and the abuelos, and y'all be all up in America and other places doing all of that fashion shit and blowing bread, but y'all didn't repaint your island. And that goes for every Caribbean island that's out here, whether it's Trinidad, Panama, Virgin Islands. Niggas need to, the ones who's over here running up the bag, the deportees, y'all scared to get deported, because if they deported you back to your island, you would get packed up. And you would be looked at as a failure, and they would talk crazy about you. Some niggas get bodied and whatnot. So before that's even gonna happen, why don't niggas just do because they go on group trips to go sleep with young girls in DR. Niggas go on shorties go on group trips to get piped down in Jamaica. They go on group trips to chill in the colonizers' resorts while y'all look over the fence and throw nickels at the natives. Why don't y'all just go repaint your hoods? How about that? Start there. Start there. Yeah, a lot of people are running from people in their countries. Yeah, start there. You know? You're going to paint murals? Dope. All I'm talking about is gentrification, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody who got moist earbuds, they'll be like, oh, he's talking down. No, I'm talking about gentrifying where you come from, so nobody else got to do it. I'm talking about regentrifying where your ass come from, so nobody else got to do it. What's wrong with that? How is that out of line? Tell me. I hope I'm not disrespecting anybody, but why are we waiting for hook-nosed people? Why are we waiting for real estate agents? Why are we waiting for anybody to come into our native lands where our grandparents and our people are from, and they got to come and beautify the shit that we should be beautifying? What do you mean? That don't even make sense. If you're in America, because listen, you can't say, once you travel outside this bitch, there's nothing that nobody can tell you. There's not a thing that nobody could tell you about the state of the motherfucking world at this point. All I needed to see was once. I just needed to see it once, and I understand what I'm looking at. Okay? Niggas is over here with this American gringo mentality. The minute you get over here, you forget about the shit that you came from. And for some odd reason, you develop this, you start looking at niggas through European eyeballs, and you got the nerve to judge niggas over here. Come on, fam. Come on, fam. That's not flying. That ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna fly. Because when you look at what the fuck y'all doing in your lands, when y'all judging us, when we go to your lands, we like, well, what the fuck? Why y'all not over there cleaning this shit up? Y'all could have even hired the locals to repaint your neighborhoods. You could have sent the fucking pastel paint over there. You could have sent the money for the labor
to be like, you know what? We just gonna rebuild all of our favelas. We gonna rebuild all of our hoods. They sold all of that dope in Washington Heights. They sold all that cocaine in Washington Heights. They sold all of that dope to our people in the motherfucking hood from Jamaica. What the fuck did you do with the money, fam? Besides buy the BMWs and the Ballys and whatnot. How y'all sold all of that crack, all of that dope, all of that weed, all of that fentanyl, all of these things to destroy our people in America, but y'all didn't even send no pastel paint back home. Where did the money go? Oh, it went to Gucci. It went to Louis. It went to Nike. Okay. It went to the Russians that was selling you fucking empty jewelry, empty gold chains. This shit sound like a bag of forks when you throw it. Huh? They were selling you hollow jewelry, 10 carats, posing as 18 carats, huh? Trans carats, right? You niggas was buying blood diamonds and a bunch of other shit, Travel Fox and whatever, Paco jeans, but you wasn't sending nothing home because them barrels that you send home, no, nigga. It starts with the real estate. It starts with the real estate because anytime you allow tourists, Europeans, or anybody to ride through where you come from and spit and look down on you so they feel like they could pillage you and they could do your people all type of ways because they'll look at it and be like, man, I could get away with a bunch of shit. My thing is this. I could never be homeless in America and I come from the islands. I'd rather be homeless in the islands. I could never be sleeping on the streets and you from an island, my nigga, where you could pick food or you might as well go sleep on the island. At least you could sleep in a hammock. At least you could sleep in a hammock. You're not homeless when you're home, nigga. Let me repeat that again. You're not homeless when you're home. Go home, nigga. The fuck? I'll be a fucking stowaway. I'll Mac a Becky for a motherfucking plane ticket before I'm homeless and I'm from an island. There's no such go be homeless in your home. That you can't be homeless if you're home. It just don't work like that. You cannot be homeless in your own home. So if you in a space where you like, yo, just pitch a fucking tent or a hammock, it's tropical out here. It don't really get cold. You know what I'm talking about? I could go to the beach and just go swimming. I could go to the beach and fucking start painting people's pictures and shit. Do some shit that they was doing in America. So a lot of people are going through self-affliction, the shit that they don't even have to go through. But this shit right here with these trailer parks and people getting back where they're refusing to pay the required $10,000, $7,500 just to coexist in the capitalistic rat race or the hamster wheel. I salute you for that. I salute you for that. I'm not going to look down on you. Jamaica is in bad condition too. Jamaica would not been in bad condition if the people who came over here, everybody that was screaming Jamaica, you don't gotta be a gentrify. You don't have to be the gentry to gentrify your neighborhood or your home islands. You don't gotta be the gentry to regentrify. They got a whole pamphlet on how to gentrify shit. There's like a whole guide. It tells you what fonts to use, what color paints, what Pantone paints, all kind of shit, what type of wood to get. Like they have a course on this shit.
So why and what the hell was stopping a nigga from gentrifying? Start with one house and then it just starts to, just keep going. So then when you do go back, it's beautified. If you do get deported, you're coming back to something that you helped to beautify, to gentrify, to upgrade. Like I said, it looks like the building stopped with the abuelas and the abuelos. So why didn't the young generation start rebuilding? Where is the building that the younger generation has done? Why does it look like in Puerto Rico and fucking Bogota and goddamn Virgin Islands, all of these places, it looks like they stopped building in the 50s? But y'all over here going crazy. So I'm just like, that niggas is lacking, bro. That's a huge lack on a diaspora's end.
In Australia, families sleep near beaches because leases are unreachable. In the UK, van dwellers hide from council fines just to rest.
So white people, bro, white people, the same ones who sold us out, the same ones who kept them secrets on their fucking chest all of day, the same ones who supposed to have benefited from the system that crushed us, the same ones who are 8 times out of 10 motherfucking aliens and goddamn migrants wherever they are. Their dreams are not even coming true. They can't even make it with all of this shit handed to them, fam. Look at that. Look how the ball bounces. Just to show you that this shit is falling to pieces. Just to give you further proof that this shit is that this shit has come to an end. Just to show you further proof that this shit is not what they say it is, fam. And our people doing everything to be white. Our people doing everything in their powers to be that white status. Our people will sell their own motherfucking people out. Hey, Charlie Rango. Our people will motherfucking throw their own people. Hey, Jesse Jackson. They throw their own people under the bus. You know what I'm talking? Hey, Al Sharpton. Calvin Butts. Charlie Rango, the ones who sold Harlem out. They're not even here with us anymore. You doing all of that selling out. Your ass ain't even there to enjoy your motherfucking sellout. The last Mohican standing is Al Bobblehead Sharpton. Okay? These were the ones who kissed the ring of the Clinton Foundation when he moved to Harlem and they started to pillage that historically melanated, quote unquote, Wakanda-like community. But everybody who was a part of that sellout, they are no longer even on this planet anymore, fam. And they thought that they were going to live forever by selling out historically black Harlem to these goddamn mongrels and whatnot that have completely bleached that place and turned the price of living to such a high degree that our people are literally having heart attacks on rent day. You stay locally on the island and can't even take hot showers in Jamaica, low water pressure and unfinished homes, potholes, trash everywhere, and mangy dogs. Facts. Facts. So many of these islands have signed contracts with the devil. When they got into selling dope, it was really the drugs that started the curse. The drugs, the petroleum. Remember, we talking about the curse of the petroleum, the petrodollar, the petro oil, the petro pharmaceuticals. With all of this on Saturday, trust me, I can't give away all of the bars right now because I don't want things to happen where they start, you know what I mean? They already got their eyeballs on the channel. But yeah, all of that petroleum-based oil stuff, that's the petroleum polyester clothes, the nylon, the microplastics, all of that is oil. The shit you see in Venezuela, the shit you see going on with Cuba, oil-based, petroleum-based, the Middle East shit, petroleum-based. So we just got to have a greater understanding as to what the hell is going on, right? But what I do know is the white folks ain't even making it in the place where, you know, their time is up. Even their contract is up
without being moved along.
These Irish, these people from Irish descent and Italian descent and other descent that wasn't and they wasn't white originally, they might lose their white status moving forward. They're in danger of losing their status as well.
The promise used to be simple: work hard and you'll own a home. But housing stopped being shelter and became an asset. Investors outbid residents, and ownership shifted from a life goal to a financial privilege. When people with jobs can't afford a place to sleep in the richest nations on earth, the problem isn't effort or discipline. It's this: what future does the West have when working no longer guarantees a home?
And I'm saying this to say that land is not always going to be affordable. The dollar is not going to always have the power that it even has right now, even with it not having a lot of powers, right? So the time to make these moves and to get the land and to build it out is now. It's not going to be later. It's going to be now, right? So the same way that we could gather to go to Stone Mountain, I love Stone Mountain, it's great and everything, but we could go to a mountain and climb the top of that mountain and then make the announcement about all of the land around that mountain that we own. It does not have to be Stone Mountain. We could find any one of the crystal mountains that are out there and bring our people, climb that mountain, but we own that land. We own acres around it and we start building and whatnot. That's what we could do. That's what we could do. I won't look no type of way at a nigga living in their, sleeping in their van, in their car. You could sleep in wherever you want, as long as you're on a land and your name is a part of that title and whatnot, that allodial title. What are we talking about? You feel me? And it don't have to be one land. It could be multiple lands. Our elders, the ones that have put in mad work, they deserve to go somewhere when they're finished their work, somewhere in paradise where they could just chill, pay no bills. You feel me? And just, you know, and be and just live out the latter years of their life without no stress. Have some clean food, clean water, clean air. They'll be able to ground. They'll have somebody on deck that comes and gives them some therapy, yoga, Reiki. Why not? What about our parents? What about our grandparents? What about the elders that deserve to get off the hamster wheel? It's not going, they're not going to be the ones to get them off the wheel. It's going to have to be people that are willing to put in the effing work and whatnot. Right now, listen, and I'm gonna say it, and I'm not gonna keep pushing the thing. The AI has reached a level, right? Let me see if I can pull something up. The artificial intelligence has reached a quote unquote breakthrough level to whereas you're able to do shit that you haven't been able to do ever before. Let me see.
And for 36 hours straight on my computer and built me a production-ready SaaS app ready for payments that I will be launching later this week. To achieve this, I use my own custom combination of the Get Shit Done framework as well as the BMAD method with one special addition. I'll cut to the chase and tell you the breakthrough unlock that I had with this method, which is basically just adding one key step before creating that big master plan that scopes out your entire plan for your project. This step kind of forces Claude Code to take a step back and engage in sort of a meta planning session where it evaluates all of the possible tools, MCP servers, skills, or browser access that it might need to actually replace all of the tasks that the human might need to do, like configuring API keys or dashboards to get that software to that final 100% live, deployed, ready to accept payments, and has user monitoring built in. After configuring tools, now Claude Code can autonomously, during the development process, go to the Stripe dashboard, the Vercel dashboard, and the PostHog dashboard to actually configure those external services and test them before deployment. If you want access to this system, I just dropped the full skill in my SKOOL link in bio.
You might not have understood a word that my boy was saying, but in so many words, what he's saying and what I'm saying is that AI has reached a limit to where it is now doing the work. You don't have to do the work anymore. You are now an operator. You are now a controller in the GOD equation, generator, operator, destroyer. You are now an operator. Okay, what does that mean? That means, like I said in the final 9 to 5 workshop, that we are now in a day where the AI is going to do the work for you. You could have a 9 to 5 and have AI building your quote unquote app. You could have an AI making websites while you're at work. It could be writing out books. It could be writing out anything. It could be doing anything. Look how many people are in the I'm so proud of y'all that y'all out, that y'all doing the work. You feel me? I'm so proud of y'all that y'all doing the work. So everything has changed. The world has changed. They didn't make that announcement because they're distracting everybody with a bunch of the negative shit, like the Epstein rabbit hole, a bunch of things to get people reacting. But literally, the world has changed for the better. And this window, I don't know how long this window is going to stay open. But what I do know is while this window was open, I don't even, bro, when I go to sleep, I'm upset because I'm like, how can I buy some time to stay awake? Is there anybody I could pay? I want to stay up for 72 hours and not close my eyes. That's how lit it is right now. Because when I go to sleep, I wake up and I might forget some shit because there's so much that could be done right now that you've been sleeping all your life so you could stay awake now. You've been sleeping all your life so you could stay up now and do what needs to be done. So what's required of right now in February? You gotta disappear for 6 months. You gotta disappear for 6 months. When I mean disappear, I don't mean, what I mean by disappear is lock in. You gotta cut everything off and lock in for at least 6 months and run up as much as you can so you might not have to work for the next 6 years. That's what this about. This is about going so hard. But when I'm talking about lock in, I mean discipline. I mean, you got to 4 a.m. You got to ground. You got to work out. You got to change your diet. You have to get into some type of spiritual practice, whether it's, bakwa, whether it's yoga, whether it's anything that you might be doing. But you gotta lock in right now. I shit you not. And if you're one of those people who go heavy on a plant-based psilocybin to open up your mind, my genius, go all the way in, set up a tape recorder and have a notebook pad next to you and write all of those ideas that are coming. It don't matter how big those ideas sound. If you're not thinking astronomically, like delusions of grandeur, if you're not thinking Galactus, where people be like, I can never see that happening, you're just not thinking enough. The people that are going to win right now are the ones with the imaginations and the ones who've been already thinking of the future. They are the winners of the now, because once they lock in with these new agentic AI tools, my G, it is over. And like I said, I'm not gonna get on this platform and keep yelling at and keep saying that. I'ma definitely show it, but I'm about to disappear and get low and lock in because there's nothing more to talk about. This is the fire. This is my, Philip is the lover of horse. You know what I mean? This is that year for me. So I gotta really get low and I gotta do what I gotta do. But when I work for the people. This is not an individual thing. I work for the people. I am working for the collective. I am working for everybody that I have got in front of for more than a decade, damn near 30 years now. And I've been talking this shit. So I gotta show and prove. I gotta, I'm talking about, I gotta pull up, my niggas. I gotta hop out. You know what I mean? But the show ain't over. The game is not over, my niggas. We got to get these touchdowns. We got to get these touchdowns. So that's why I built the Imaginarium, so we can start making movies and whatnot. We can make comics. We can make toys. People might be like, what's that going to do? That's going to program the mind of the youth. That's going to program the mind of the youth. You know what I'm saying? The minds of the youth, my G, because they coming up next. They the ones that we doing this for. They're the ones that's going to benefit from this. So yeah, we got the Imaginarium School. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that done signed up. We already passed the 100 marks and whatnot. So it's lit. You know what I mean? We've been doing the workshop. We got number 4 of the workshop on Friday, but we're going for 90 days. So the first month is in the bag. We already made a touchdown. See, they got tools that are dropping where you can make movies and whatnot. Let me show you, right? In the midst of all of that shit that we was doing, the AI dropped, you know what I'm saying? And now you can make movies, right? Now it's easy to make a movie, right? They didn't have this last month. They didn't have this quality last month. So it's only AI slop when you a sloppy nigga. It's only AI slop when you think sloppily, right? Shout out to all of the gooners.
It is gooning.
Can you define it for me?
It means engaging in stupid or foolish behavior.
Etymology?
Probably from goon.
Please make a sentence.
Boys are acting silly at school.
G-O-O-N-I-N-G.
That's correct.
To this day, to this day, to this day.
Imaginarium, blueprints for the planetarium. So we literally now could get lost in our imagination, right? Our imagination is what's going to get us out of this bullshit. It's going to get us out this trap. It's going to get us out of this quote unquote quagmire that we're in, especially those of us who have quote unquote minds, right? That we could think ourselves out the ghetto. We could think ourselves out the hood. We could think ourselves out of poverty. You feel me? We could create ourselves out of a motherfucking bad situation. Give me nigga, I'll put me in a cinder block home. You feel me? With some Wi-Fi and some good cooking and whatnot and some good loving. Man, I'm going to produce, my niggas. I'm going to produce. I'm not difficult. This shit is not difficult. It is not rocket science. People are making it difficult and it is not. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that I know when I was coming up, we all wanted to make movies and whatnot. So, you know, the ones that are able to do it, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that are going to do it, they're going to do it. You got to put yourself in the movie, bro. I'm not a victim. I don't give a fuck. I write my own story. Nothing ever happened to me. Nothing ever happened to me. You feel me? Nothing ever happened to me. Everything happened because I allowed it. Everything happened because it was supposed to happen. It's all written in the script. You know what I mean? But yeah, look, we got people pulling up, doing. Look. You find some people. I don't want to get the copyright. You know? But I'm an artist. I tell people that all the time. I'm an artist first before anything. So I approach freedom fighting. I approach teaching. I approach growth and development. I'm approaching all of that, right? Through the lens of the arts and the sciences, right? And I've shown people what I do with my art over the years and whatnot. Look, check this out. The minute they talking about the alien files, look, here we go. Right? And this is on a free app. This is on Sora. It's free. It's on your phone. This is on a free app. I didn't pay a dime. This is Sora. It's a free app. While I'm sitting around learning from the YouTube, let's say I'm listening to a YouTube video and I'm learning some shit, I'm on Sora prompting at the same time. The same way that old lady is knitting a mitten, right? The same way that a lady is knitting a mitten, I'm just making clips for a trailer. But I get the opportunity to expand my mind, right? Because in this art right here, it's like in 3 dimensions. It's a dimension where it's like a video game. It's a dimension where it's like a cartoon. Then there's the real life dimension. You feel me? These are things that I'm just doing in my spare time. You know what I mean? But I will have vertical soaps. I will have, look, this is what they trying to give us. This is what we got to deal with.
Heard about this new controversial character on a show called Hey AJ on Disney Junior.
Wow! It's really Captain Durag.
For some odd reason, Disney decided to say okay to a superhero on Disney Junior named Captain Durag,
who wears a do-rag and a cape to keep Slum City safe. What the? Captain Durag, bring a superhero funk. Captain Durag, clean up that evil junk.
This is freaking outrageous.
To this day!
Y'all wrong for this one.
I've had enough of your trash talk.
Black dark-skinned man takes out the trash. Are we serious?
Like in the middle of February too?
I wonder who greenlit that.
Like, it genuinely could not have been a black person. Like, I actually think it was,
Well, it was created by former NFL player, author, creative, Martellus Bennett. And he's a black man.
I don't care who made it. Y'all.
I bet you when you look at, even though he's the face of it, I bet you I know who gave him the money. And I bet you I know who's behind that shit. The fuck? So we got to deal with Captain Durag and whatnot. That's what we going up against, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we are encouraging everyone on the show right now to click on that QR code right above my head and to sign up to tomorrow's class that we have for the Imaginarium, Blueprints for the Planetarium. I promise you, you are going to get what you came for. All right. Oh, yeah. Check this out. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to tap in. You're going to be able to design. You're going to learn how to create these mini movies. So you could use these movies and you could take that and you could get hired. You could take that and you could monetize that. You could take that and you could do without whatever you want to do. Right. I'm into promoting the digital nomads. Right. This is some of the work from to being a digital nomad, somebody who can move around the world and whatnot. Right. And I don't. Yeah. Hold on.
Blueprints in the planetarium.
Click on that QR code.
Imaginarium.
We have all of our courses recorded. You get access to our school community, our Telegram, and we have a Discord. We are not playing, ladies and gentlemen. And we have special teachers pulling up. We just had my good brother from Psycho Cinematics, Tariq Bey, pull up. So he's going to help us with how to create a storyboard and how to make out a mini movie tomorrow in our workshop.
Blueprints in the planetarium. Imaginarium. Blueprints in the planetarium. Founders get found in the atrium. We carry them. Builders build brick by brick on the mantle of spin. Best nation, imagination. Stamp the atlas in. Gill lights up.
Code hum like a seraphim. From prompting the prophet, watch the merits win. We craft a myth, then market it, establish it. Imaginarium where raw thought turns adamant. School, chalk dust flow over marble lamp. Kill the mindsmith, so sesh with a carbon nib. Gods of intelligence, gears turning to lofty mid. Fantasy copies, factory floors with the stars lit. Generator, spark ether, map to parliament. Operator, who signal audit all the arguments. Destroyer, cut the clutter, know the counterfeit. Every bar's a spec sheet, every rhyme's a document. 5 pillar stand, comics, tunes, games, toys, animation. We mold the cannon, full time, whole constellation. Founders in the foundry with Kalu's dedication. We press the crescent metal, KTL authentication. Red banner in the rafters, discipline over trend. We turn a theory to a product, then a tribe to a brand. From borough blocks, the black box, labs we ascend. Imaginarium, the place builders built to the end. Imaginarium. Blueprints in the planetarium.
Yourself in any world that you want to be in. Put yourself in any world that you want to be in. Everybody have a favorite movie. Everybody got a favorite show. Everybody wants to, or if you don't have one, you probably got one in your mind and whatnot. You got one sketched in a notebook somewhere. If you're a rapper, you create already with your pencil and your pen. You now make the visuals of that world. Don't let your label do it for you. Don't let some dude, a rock star who climb mountains and whatnot, like they said on the Wu-Tang song. You know what I mean? Don't put it in the hand of one of those people. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you do it. You build your world. You create your environment. Yes, Imaginarium, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely want y'all to pull up and be a part of what it is that we're doing. We're doing this for the family, and we are making strides, okay? We are making strides, okay? So that was a word from our sponsors. Let's get back to it, all right?
This is what white people are doing in Europe. A lot of white people don't even know their own history. This is what white people were doing in Europe. Their entire body was covered in hair. They grew out there and they walked around butt naked. Sometimes they walked on all fours. Now they're trying to tell you that they created civilizations. Mind you, the cradle of civilization is in Africa. People that were doing this in the caves are trying to tell you they're the superior race. But when it comes to their history, they try to say this is folklore, this is not real, but I have eyes. I see plenty of white people that look like this today. Body full of hair, looking like a fucking ape.
Yikes. Let's go.
Only interested in art from the European is only interested in art from the third world if it satisfies his nostalgia for primitivism. That's a quote from Brazilian filmmaker Glauber Rocha. In the 60s, he argued that when Latin American films show hunger and violence, European critics treat it like tropical surrealism, as if it's an aesthetic and not a desperate attempt to show real misery and oppression. This idea was at the core of third cinema, a revolutionary cinema made by and for the colonized world, or global south. Third cinema isn't a genre or style, but a complete rejection of Hollywood's commercial escapism and European cinema focused on the filmmaker's personal expression. Instead, it exposes viewers to the raw truth in a way that they can't ignore the causes behind.
See, this is the type of art that we're advocating for. This is the type of philosophy in your art, right? We're not just encouraging somebody to just say, all right, that's you know, that's what creates AI slop. We don't want to encourage somebody just to do something just because. We're mostly speaking to the person in the audience who has that quote unquote artistic mind and whatnot, who is able to articulate our story through the lens of a very artistic expression, through the medium of art, through the medium of film, but not no Tyler Perry type shit, right? So I'm not on certain platforms speaking to a Tyler Perry audience. I'm on my platform. I'm over here and I'm other places speaking to the Godhead, speaking to the cream of the crop, speaking to the 0.0001% of the quote unquote melanated population, those who are the students of the master teachers who are conditioned to see the world through a different lens. I would love to see your stories come to life. And I'm here to let you know, if nobody would let you know, that the tools that you need, that the actual permission that you got a permission slip and you got a tool stack, right? And you got a budget to do it now. So what's up? What you want to do? Are you going to still sit around and wait for permission? Are you still going to wait for your moment and whatnot? Are you still going to wait for Harvey Weinstein to hit you up? Or are you going to pick up your motherfucking you don't got to even pick up any cameras no more. Just pick your head up and tap in and get going. Get to it. Get to it. The only thing that's required is your time, your creativity, and a budget. That's it. Once you put that in play, your ass is off to the races.
It's cinema as a means of liberation. In The Aesthetics of Hunger, Pasha said that films shouldn't show hunger as spectacle, but instead show the structural violence that keeps people starving. Land inequality, neocolonial exploitation, foreign intervention. Then later, in The Aesthetics of Dreams, he says that not only should films talk about decolonization, but that the form itself should be decolonized, meaning they should stop borrowing the visual language from the global north and use their own dreams, symbolism, and experiences to show this violence. These ideas are still relevant. People treat poverty as a condition instead of as a
and what I'm really excited about, to not take anything away, because the AI is a global phenomenon. This is not a local thing. This is being adapted by people around the globe. Some people on the globe are even more digitally inclined. Like they've been doing, they going harder with the tools than Americans who could actually afford, $20 a month and whatnot. The people in Brazil might not be able to afford that. The people in quote unquote Africa, they might not be able to afford some of these fees and whatnot, but Americans can. So me personally, when I go to the gas station, I start out with $20 minimum in the motherfucking tank. So I'm gassing up my tank. Anytime I get in front of this goddamn computer and I'm about to go driving, I put in 20 in the tank. I put 20 in the tank just to start out with. I might put 100 in the tank one day. I might put 1,000 in the tank. And I told somebody this the other day. If you really want to make a movie, not a short, like shout out to brother Ben X, he's killing them with the Yakub shorts. They like 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. I'm saying if you want to do the 2-hour joint, if you want to do the 2-hour boy, where you can have a whole premiere, go and drop $5,000 in credits. Just get it out the way. Cause I don't like working and then I get stopped in the middle of my flow because I gotta bring up credits because I ran out of credits. That stops my momentum. I want to drop 5 bands on Higgsfield or 5 bands on Dream Engine or 5 bands on whatever tool set that I'm using, whatever creative suite. Just get that out the way. Once again, I said that if you're going to do a movie, you got to have a budget. You can't do a movie and you got $100, my nigga. Don't talk to me about a movie and you got $100 to spend. You could do a commercial. And I would encourage you, use the AI to run up your bag. Use the AI to get customers from around the world. People need things done right now. They need websites. They need apps. They need films. They need trailers. They need scripts. They need all type of things. They need avatars. They need all type of things. You got to figure it out. When the way that I'm moving, we got Imaginarium 90-day jump off, but very soon it's gonna even be more of a lockdown workspace. I'm over here with Claude Code. I got my Clawbot working. I got Clawbot. I got Manus AI. I got Kimmy Claw. My niggas, I'm living in a whole dream right now. I'm in the future. I'm in the future. And I know people don't like AI, but listen, that's not on me. They didn't like a lot of things. I don't care because I'm not AI. So I don't take none of that personal. You know? That don't have nothing to do with me whatsoever. With them not liking, people don't like water. You know? People don't like fruits. What does that have to do with me?
Consequence, content creators romanticize it and sell it as a natural thing, not something produced by policy, history, and exploitation. Next time you watch something that shows the poverty of the global south, think about these ideas.
Government says that it has killed 4 people.
So that same poverty that this man is speaking about, that same poverty that he's speaking of, right? When America puts sanctions on a country that's already somewhat struggling, right? That is an act of violence. So the embargo on Cuba, the same way that the embargo on Venezuela was violence, right? It is an economic act of violence, and violence begets violence, right? So they got the people in Cuba, a very revolutionary type of people, because remember, they washed the islands of the coons. That's what all of Miami is. That's what that whole boat ride that you see in the beginning of Scarface. They got Batista Peoples and all of them niggas up out of there, right? So that's Rubio's people and all of that, the Santos and all that's the Zimmerman class. That's the Zimmerman bloodline. That's all of those type of people that come from they got booted up out of there, right? These people are militant, they spiritual, they do real work. Okay, they do real work over there. They're highly intelligent. You got doctors and lawyers and all type of stuff. So America or the colonizers or the crusaders are literally about to clip Cuba. Okay, they're about to go to war with Cuba, right? Right after they topple Venezuela, provocations in Mexico. Mexico was helping out Cuba. Mexico was sending oil and tried to send food to Cuba, right? And they didn't allow that to happen, right? So then you saw them setting it off in Cuba. I mean, you saw them setting it off in Mexico and whatnot, and they had the whole world distracted and shit like that while they were trying to make moves on Cuba. And then what happened? Cuba clapped back. So 4 people got bodied yesterday from the American side, fucking around and finding out about playing with Cuba. Remember the Bay of Pigs? Remember the Bay of Pigs? Huh? That small, tiny island. There's something about that small, tiny island in the Caribbean Sea that these people are still afraid of. This is a small island, and it doesn't have modern day weaponry. It don't got all of that stuff. Okay? So this is the story. This is the context of it.
We have some serious news this afternoon. The Cuban government says that it has killed 4 people after a United States boat violated territorial waters of Cuba. Whether these were 4 American citizens, military personnel, or what, it's unclear. The American government has yet to respond. According to a statement from the Cuban Ministry of Interior, they said that a violating speedboat was detected within Cuban territorial waters. The vessel, which was a registered Florida vessel, approached up to 1 nautical mile northeast of the El Pino Channel. A commander of the Cuban border guard was also injured, and 6 people on the U.S. registered vessel were injured as well, on top of the 4 people that were killed on the vessel. If this was an American military vessel, or if this was even just American citizens, you could expect a response from the Trump administration. We'll see what happens. Spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. I'll have more to come soon.
Whew, man. I think they had, yeah, man. So just, what are we doing? A lecture on Saturday? Yeah, it'll be from today to Saturday. I'm gonna keep my eyes on the provocations. Told that the 28th of February, the same day that we're doing the lecture, is a very, very powerful day in terms of the warmongers and the strikes that they want to carry out. So just keep that in mind. Okay, just keep that in mind. Let us go into some other stories. Okay, let's go into some other stories. Yeah, but I stand with Cuba. Our sister Sada Shakur, right?
Pretty crazy breaking news.
The conversation probably would have been even been more dire if she was even alive still, and people were like, yo, if they invade Cuba, they might go and get a Sada.
The European is only interested in
So they held down our sister for many, many years. She was actually the litmus test, because if there was any form of sellouts in their government, if there was any form of quote unquote, turncoats, if they had any type of gringo ass kissing genes in their system, if they had that gringo boot licking quote unquote gene that niggas have, the litmus test would have been Asada. She would have easily been the one that they sold out. They would have been, there's no negotiations that the government of Cuba could ever do with not giving her up as the chess piece. That's what America wanted from the giddy up. That was the bargaining chip. They would not do anything with Cuba on any level if she was not giving up. So if you saw a story where she was giving up, if you saw a story where Cuba gave her back, if you saw a story where the Deep Six came in there and grabbed her, then people would be like, oh yeah, Cuba's compromised. The magic don't work, and the government is selling people out. But because the magic works so good over there, what do you think? You think that they would sell Asada out and have their whole bloodline curse? They gotta answer to that when they die. This shit is different. There's decisions that you make on this earth that you won't be able to get away from it, because it's gonna follow your ass past the bright lights. You know what I'm talking about? Past the bright light, nigga. You're gonna take that into the other realm. There's certain things that will follow you into the other realms. You can't just die and clean your slate. Some people ain't about to have that type of karma on their bloodlines. They not about to have that type of spiritual karma. Hell nah. Yeah, the birth. Yeah. You fly right over that bitch in a plane. Yeah. Check this shit out.
If you want to understand Puerto Ricans, you need to know this first. Your abuela didn't come to New York chasing a dream. She came because someone engineered her poverty and handed her a one-way ticket out. After World War II, the US government launched Operation Bootstrap. They told Puerto Rico it was modernization. What it actually did was wipe out every farm, every sugarcane field, every coffee plantation that families had worked for generations. Overnight, the work was gone. And conveniently, New York's factories, hotels, and hospitals needed cheap labor. So the government didn't just post job listings. They created the Migration Division Bureau, recruitment offices, one-way plane tickets for $50. They packaged displacement as opportunity and handed it to people who had no other choice. 470,000 Puerto Ricans.
So when you go to these paradises, that they misnomer and they label third world and whatnot, they disrespected them. They literally handed these people tickets to come to their shithole, right? Their shithole that they created over here, and took those people's rich lands, took those people's paradises, and convinced them to come and live in tenements, and convinced them to come and live in the ghetto, and convinced them to come and live in the hood and whatnot. And they took their motherfucking land from them. They took their rich land and they traded their rich land for here. They did that to the Virgin Islands. They did that to Jamaica. They did that to the Trinidad. They did that to people in Africa and whatnot. That's why when you go into places like Dunkin' Donuts and Popeyes, you see these groups of people who have working visas. They got the whole village and whatnot selling niggas chicken and whatnot. But what happened to the village that they came from? The village that they came from was sitting on a goddamn a lithium mine, a gold mine, a silver mine. They were sitting on oil and whatnot. So they, all right, we gonna pack the village up. They'll negotiate something with the chief. All right, we'll give you 500 visas, right? That's why they'll have like village chiefs and whatnot working Ubers and shit like that in America on some Kimmy and goddamn coming to America type shit. Because they're selling out rich land. They're selling out land with resources. They're getting them niggas up out of there and whatnot. They turning their land into resorts. And the trade-off is a trip to America, right? They're using our backyard as the negotiation chips and whatnot. And they're using cheap labor and they're undercutting. They did all of that shit and they undercutted the Aboriginal people who are already here, who are in charge of those industries and whatnot. And that's where a lot of this friction and shit like that even starts from. Okay? They sent these people over here on a motherfucking discount, right? To come over here and be a part, but they put them right in the middle of our hoods. They didn't do no type of cultural exchange. They didn't teach nobody the history of anyone else and whatnot. They just placed people right there. Boom. And then they gave them more rights on us. Y'all could get a store, y'all could get a bodega, y'all could get this, y'all could get that off of the bodies and the bloods of African Americans who got slain in the streets. Okay? So on our blood and on our cadavers and on our bodies, these niggas started opening up opportunities to cross us, to undercut us, right? To checkmate us.
Between 1945 and 1964, they landed in the Bronx, Brooklyn, East Harlem. In freezing cold they'd never felt, in buildings that should have been condemned, in jobs that paid just enough to keep them from leaving. They were called names in the street.
Same thing happened with the Europeans, and you see that in the gangs of New York. So they did the same thing with the Italian, with the Irish, with the Eastern Polak, with the Eastern and whatnot, with the Ukrainians and all of them. They had the Germans over here first and shit like that, the Germanic tribes, but they brought all of them other bottom feeders over here, right? And then the same thing happened. They put them in tenements. They put them in the original ghetto was where the Jews were at. The original ghetto was a name of where Jews lived, right? And then they used them to take over the port jobs, to take over the menial jobs, to undercut our people. That's how you have the draft riots and shit like that. And they showed it in the movie. They were basically Holocausting, and they had a race riot, and the degenerates, the migrants, the aliens turned on the Aboriginals, bro. They turned on us.
They were handed the worst of everything, and they built the most out of it. They opened bodegas, threw parties that made the whole block feel like the island, took corners of New York nobody wanted, and made them legendary. Your family didn't just survive that. They built something from it that's still standing today. Did your family come during this wave? Drop it in the comments.
So when people say, damn, so why did those people get, why they flooded our hood with cocaine? They flooded our hood with cocaine. They flooded our hood with dope. They flooded our hood with quote unquote, they destroyed our hoods. They destroyed our neighborhoods. They brought down the real estate in our neighborhoods, right? Why did they allow the Dominicans to do that? Why did they allow the Puerto Ricans? Why did they allow the Mexicans? Why did they allow the Jamaicans to just pillage and to do all of these things with these drugs? Because these drugs were coming from their countries as well. I'm not just making this up. You know, niggas in the hood was selling shit, but it wasn't coming from the hood. It wasn't coming from the hood. We wasn't exporting it. We were not the suppliers. We were buying from the suppliers and then going back in our hoods and cooking it up and chopping it up. But the source, the import, you know, like when niggas got shea butter, right? When shea butter blew up, shea butter was being imported. It's not native to the land. So somebody had to bring the shea butter in. Somehow, somebody, in order for us to even be flooded with shea butter, somebody had to open up the shea butter floodgates. So who opened up the cocaine floodgates? And why did that shit flood our people? Why did it flood our hoods? Why did we become part of the deluge and whatnot? So they've been cutting deals on the greasy side, and they've been cutting deals on the easy side. They got visas for people to come over here to work, but they also got visas for people to come over here and twerk. And they also got visas for people to come over here and murk, right? They're letting killers over here. They're letting the same way with when they flushed the toilets in Cuba and they sent the killers to Florida. You've seen Cocaine Cowboys. They sent the killers to Florida. Well, they sent the killers from Europe to America, and those were the people who were part of wiping our people out and lynching them in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. The same way that they let the killers like Tony Montana and motherfucking what's his nigga that he shot, Manolo, right? The same way that they let him over there, they let the European killers and the European degenerates and the European quote unquote prisoners. They did that before that. They did that before Cuba. So then they did that recently when they let all of them people through the border, right? They did that too. The Democrats did that too. They let them through the borders. They let they had them niggas from M13, the M6, M13, MS13. They had gangs that I never heard of. Huh? Look, here we go. Red pill. Stop blaming the Jamaicans for the drug problems. It was Ronald Reagan who brought the drugs in the black community using the CIA. The shower posse was a CIA creation. That's what I've said last show. That's what I'm talking about on this show. The shower posses are Jamaican, correct? Are the shower posses Jamaican? What's the Wheel of Fortune? Nah. Can I get a not Wheel of Fortune? Jeopardy. I'll take shower posse for 1,200. Jamaican. Right? So when I say Jamaicans, that's what I'm talking about. There were Jamaican gangs who infiltrated and were able to sell drugs all up and down, right? Crack. And they got down with killing niggas, right? Wholesale. They went to war in many different states. How many people in here went to war with the Jamaicans in their states over crack, over selling drugs? How many people come from a city or a state where the Jamaicans came and instead of bringing cultural exchange, instead of teaching people how to do shit the Jamaicans do, they was bringing crack and drugs into your neighborhoods? You know? Because once you make that deal with the devil, it's gonna get you. You're cursed. You're cursed. So once you get in bed with these small hats and these devils, and you start fucking with this cocaine, and you start fucking with them drugs that are already cursed, you're cursed. This is a trap. This is a trap. And they use poverty and other little things to convince people. But you're not going to tell a nigga from Flatbush about how the Jamaicans was moving. You're not about to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? I seen it all. Okay? So nothing is saying, nobody's talking down on the Jamaican population, but we are definitely saying that the CIA had a hand in pushing murder gangs and murder culture on our people through the illicit sale of narcotics. It wasn't going down like that when they were selling heroin. They didn't have all of that killing during the heroin days, even when niggas was fucking with the white girl and it was powder and whatnot. They wasn't going through it wasn't people murdering the New York was the murder capital in 1990. That came from the Jamaicans. New York was why is New York the murder capital in 1990s? Because of the drug wars that jumped off in the mid 80s, and the Jamaicans was taking over shit, and they wasn't just taking over shit, they were bodying niggas. So before that, we was fighting, you might get stabbed or something, you know, brass knuckles. They came with the shower posse. They turned it into a murder thing. Okay, that's when everything changed. Before that, it wasn't like that. People were getting dealt with because they were a part of that life, and that was a segment. It wasn't everybody. That was a segment. The Jamaicans somehow came, and that shit turned into an everybody game. Can't blame the Haitians. You can't blame the Africans because pushing the poison. Okay, let's keep it a buck. And then when the White Boy Hatcher Hard to Kill came out, then it became more of a Hollywood type thing. But they was on that shit way before that. So let's talk about what the Shower Posse did in Hartford, fucking Connecticut. I was in Hartford for a whole year. My son's mother's Jamaican. All of that was explained how Hartford got turned upside down. And then after they locked everybody up and deported niggas, Hartford is just fucking stuck as a ghost town. The shit is stuck in time. You could go to certain cities that are literally stuck in time, and they're stuck because so much murders took place. Come on, man. The government, I already talked about the government. But to be honest with you, when you speak about it, the government did not create crack. The government was flooding it with cocaine, and niggas made crack, right? They said that crack was made in somebody's kitchen. They perfected the crack in the hood and whatnot. Yeah, the government needed somebody to sell it, though. The government needed somebody to push it. The government needed somebody to shed blood and push it through violence. You understand? That's what the government was doing. The government was using their cutouts. They were using their quote unquote, the people that work for them, to go ahead and fuck around and push the fuckery. Rick Ross have come on the show multiple times for atonement. He was on No to Ledge Radio 3 times. I wanted to attack him and I could not. I wanted to wash him up. I wanted to judge him. I wanted to be petty, and I wanted to judge that grown man when he came on a radio show, because Blue Pill hooked it up. I was like, I'm gonna get him. This was back in the, in the Harlem days where you could checkmate it, got him. That was like you wanted to embarrass someone. But after he came on the show and started talking, he made me sit down and humble myself. He made me sit down and listen to what he had to say. And I just had to listen. And I did not embarrass him. And I did not go off on him. And I did not wash him up. But once again, it just goes to show how the media and how people's reputations, you'll be judged by your name and your story. You'll be judged when your reputation precedes you and whatnot. He was not a victim. I don't think he had portrayed himself as a victim. I saw somebody said that. He was just keeping it so real. And his level of atonement, right? The level of responsibility that he was able to quote unquote take, you know, he was able to atone, and he was able to stand on what exactly he understood his role. He understood his role, right? But his willingness to say, you know what, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm dedicated to do this. This is my journey now. I mean, I could not do it. I just had to say, good luck, bro. Good luck. And if you're not real, if you're not true to what you say, that ain't on me. That's not on me. You're gonna have to deal with that. You're gonna have to deal with that. You got to look at yourself in the mirror, and the universe is gonna spin you and whatnot for getting up here and playing with us, playing in our face and whatnot. And up until this day, I haven't heard his name. His jacket ain't been muddied up until this day. And I'm not searching. I'm hoping that he don't fall off his square. You feel me? But you know, he did play a pivotal role in the debauchery and stuff like that. But once again, for those of us that are in this community, and you might be inside of an event, and you might be standing next to somebody that got 20 bodies and whatnot. You might be standing next to somebody that just did 25 years. So it's like you might be listening to somebody on the stage who just did 20 years. So at this point in the game, I didn't sign up to this game to judge niggas. I didn't sign up to this game to point niggas out and to say who's wrong and who's right. I signed up to this shit to clean my spirit and to clear my karma, and through learning about myself on the path of learning who the fuck I am. I signed up to this to clean up my karma, bloodline karma, right? And on that journey and on that quest, I just so happen to interview people and get on camera and just do what I do and make it look good for TV. But I'm here for a specific reason. So I mean, like you know, I'm the media. I'm the new media. So we know the Ledge Radio is like a podcast. So we have an obligation to interview and to interject our personal experiences, our personal objections, and all of that. You know what I mean? But I'm here to see men and women transform their lives, no matter where they came from, no matter what they did in their past, no matter what they motherfucking jacket looked like. I ain't here to judge. That's not my duty right there. I be around some people that got some messed up stories, bro. I be scared to look into some niggas' past. You know what I'm talking about? You know, when you smoke, when you hit the L, I'm very intuitive. I turned into Cleo from the commercials when I hit the L. I hit the L around certain niggas, and I just get tapped into the shit that they got going on, and it scares the shit out of me. I'm like, nah, you could have the blunt. You can have the blunt, fam. Just get, you know what I mean? Get, you know, keep working on yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas got work to do. There's some people up in this bitch that are running around with all type of shit on them right now. Dealing with all type of shit, bro. You could see it in their face. You know? Niggas need cleaning. They need help. They need smudging for real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, keep the L, my nigga. You're gonna need that more than me. So I'm doing my due diligence and doing shit like going in the jungle for 10 days against every single thing in my body that said, don't do it. You think I went out there because I wanted to, nigga? You think I went out to the jungle because I wanted to? I did not want to go out there. You know what I'm talking about? I did not want to go to Colombia, bro. But I kept saying that I was going to do what I went and did. I kept putting it off for years and years and years. And then I just sat down with a loved one, somebody that I trust. Matter of fact, it was Mama Pill. And we was sitting inside of in a sauna. We was inside of J. Jude, inside of a spa. And I expressed how I felt. And I told her what my spirit was telling me, but then I also told her what my word was. And my mother looked me right in my eyes and she said, bro, if you said just you was gonna do it, then nigga, go and do it. So that's why I did it. I did not have the time of my fucking life out there, bro. You know what I'm talking about? I already told y'all we got to do the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I only did the good. So what volcanoes is going off out that bitch, and floods are going off in that bitch, and all type of shit is going down. I'm just sitting back patiently, you know, still integrating off the medicine, you know, just writing shit down in the journal. But I went amongst the tribe who has been doing what they doing for damn near thousands of years. These wasn't no just come along. It was some powerful people, bro. These was some powerful shamans, bro. They've been in that jungle, they've been in that rainforest since they've been a rainforest, more than likely. You know? These is the big homies. These is the big homies. So yeah, it wasn't easy, bro. It was not and I was not welcome with open arms. It wasn't like they had a fucking ticker tape parade when they saw me. You know what I'm talking about? I more so felt like, nigga, like they didn't want me there than they wanted me there. Did they have dark skin? They wasn't pale, but they wasn't my complexion. You know? They wasn't conquistadors, but they wasn't my complexion. They wasn't, you know what I mean? Nah, they wasn't copper tone. Okay. And there was 60 conquistadors there. 60 conquistadors, nigga, from all levels, from every single pocket of South America and Europe. Just a few of us was from America. You know? What enlightenment did you get from the experience? Oh man, I can't even speak about the enlightenment. I'm literally still getting that enlightenment. It's a gift that keeps giving. It's the gift that keeps giving. It's not a one-time thing when you go ahead and you tap into the medicine and whatnot. It's a journey. It begins a whole experience. You feel me? But it's very mystical and it's very personal. But you know, I was just my awareness was heightened. My awareness was heightened. It showed me the snakes around me. I started cutting niggas off immediately. I don't have no friends. Did I have to walk to the retreat, or did you? What do you mean? Did I have to walk? I had to fly there. I had to fly there. And then we got in the cab. And when I got out the airport, a cab took me 2 hours up a mountain to get to the retreat. 2 hours to get to the camp. It's not a retreat, it's a camp. You know, 2 hours up a mountain, going straight up, not going around a mountain, going straight up the mountain, like literally a lateral, like how you do the incline in Planet Fitness when the machine does the incline. That's how the cab went. Like if I had my phone plugged up, the phone probably would have fell back to where I was in the back seat. That's how much of an incline we were on. I got things off my camera phone. I caught a lot of footage. You know, I'm gonna do, once I get this lecture out the way on Saturday, then I have some time, because I've been very dedicated into just giving y'all what I've been giving y'all leading up to Saturday. Everything that I've done leading up to it is winning Rome. The consistency of this Roman shit and this winning Rome shit is every single show, from the Boys R Us series to the Greatest State is Underwater. You know what I'm talking about? Everything leading up to this, you feel me, is a part of that. Oh yeah, I was definitely in the cut. So just think about being so much in the cut that it's like, there were spots where I was at where it was no Wi-Fi. I had to go I had to walk about 10, 15 minutes to go get the Wi-Fi. So where I was at in my camp, no Wi-Fi, no phone, no Wi-Fi, but I felt so free. Did you talk to the ant? Of course. Do a bird fly? Like the medicine, you got, I would encourage anybody who is uncomfortable when you hear the word ayahuasca, because if you, it's almost like me describing climbing Stone Mountain, and then it's about climbing Stone Mountain. You see the difference? I could get up here and be like, oh, Stone Mountain, that was crazy. We were climbing, and you know, it was it's made out of granite and da 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 da. But then you climb it, and then when we have a conversation about it, it's completely different. Now I'm not trying to describe it. I'm speaking to you about the experience of it. So the ayahuasca is the similar thing. It's like I can't even explain what happens with the aya. It's not really, I can't articulate the aya, you know? But it's gonna wake up some shit that's inside of it. The difference between the boomies and that, I would say that the boomies come before that. I would say that the boomies come before that. The boomies are going to give you all of your senses heightened. It's going to talk to you. It's going to activate you. But whatever part of the brain that the boomies might help to activate, the aya is going to activate another part of the brain. If that makes any sense and whatnot, the aya is just opening up a door. It's basically opening up a pathway. So your brain, so one part of your brain is connecting to another part of your brain that's not necessarily connected on a regular default mode. All of our brains are in default mode. So our default mode is not allowing certain parts of our brain to communicate with other parts of our brain. Deep meditation, deep breathing, sometimes trauma, right? Sometimes some real heavy trauma, like close near-death experiences, right? Because near-death experiences releases the DMT. So what is taking place is the DMT is interfacing with certain neurons and whatnot in the brain. And what that is allowing one to do is to melt away all of the veils that we have in this agreed upon reality, where we're literally domesticated in the way that we see ourselves. We are living in an agreed upon domesticated reality. It is considered to be the substrate of what is known as the simulation, or rather the simulacra. Once you get on the medicine, you're outside of the simulation. It's going to take you outside the simulation, and you'll begin to tap in the ayahuasca or the toad. So the toad is the highest on that quote unquote totem pole, I would say. The toad is definitely on the top of that, you know. What you learned there, can you teach it in America? Listen, all of these shows where I'm teaching about melanated people in South America, all of these shows where I'm teaching about the history of the Moors in South, all of that came to me. This is the teaching. Before I went out there, yeah, I had that information, but it wasn't the same as when I came back. That information is a part of me now. I literally went through that experience. I lived through it. When I was on the, all right, let me just paint the picture about what was going on. Maybe I could pull a picture up. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, I got a folder right here. So I'm in a village, right? Surrounded by people who I probably would never have surrounded by. And that's all right. You know what I mean? Because life is about experiencing, right? And I'm not closed-minded. And I'm a people person, you know, red pill, love the people, right? So I'm surrounded by people who I probably would never be around, and they probably would never be around me, right? And you know, everybody is kind of like, you know, just getting to know one another. You're locked in a place that's somewhat through 2 hours away from reality. So you gonna just I gotta get to know these people around me. So yeah, I'm around people, we chopping it up, we kicking it. Then I'm like, hey, where you from? I'm from Spain. Oh shit, okay. So this right here, just to give you an example, this was when we were leaving. Okay. This was when we were leaving to go back to America. Okay. And this lady right here, this abuela right here, she literally made me cry when I seen her, because the whole time that I was there, I did not see anybody of that type of energy, right? I'm not talking about her color, because you'll realize it's not a color thing when you start moving around. People got colors. The color don't mean nothing. It's really the spirit and the energy. She had abuela energy. She had big mama energy. She had the energy that I literally was searching for all over fucking Latin America that I could not find. I couldn't find her in the airport. I couldn't find her in Bogota. I only found her when I was ready to leave the island, bro. But when I was on the medicine, this is who I was hearing cry. This is the woman. This is who I was hearing. I was hearing their cries. I was hearing them saying, yo, these people have subjugated us for thousands of years. These people over here are treating us the worst. They are literally crushing us. That's what they were telling me in my reading and whatnot. Apache Mama, Big Mama, which is also, if they subjugate the land, they're gonna subjugate the woman. Okay. This is me in Bogota, right? So when I went to Bogota was an experience that I can't even speak about, right? Bogota was such an experience that it would take days to describe the experience of Bogota. Bogota was a spiritual awakening, and I wasn't even on no type of quote. This is before the ritual. This is before the ceremony. This is on the way to the ceremony. I stop in Bogota and I literally have an awakening. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Like, it just was like it was. If you ever been somewhere and you felt like you've been here before, you feel me? You felt like you've been here before, and you felt like something is waiting for you, like something is speaking to you. That's the energy that I was feeling in that country and whatnot. It was very strong. But what it was telling me, it was like, fam, your bloodline, your ancestors, your spirit guides are strong over here. You know what I'm saying? They're strong, but they need you to activate. Stop playing. Don't play with these people. Spread the word. Get your name out there. Not your name like that, but you got to stand on who you are. You got to stand on who you got to rep your set, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? It was like you got to rep your set. So I had to rep it spiritually, because you're not going to get loud and start yelling in it. No, they saying spiritually. So when I'm on the medicine, my spirit was very loud. My spirit was yelling. It was like a sleeping giant. It was waking up inside of that jungle, right? Mind you, I'm surrounded by Europeans. So when we're not on the medicine, everything is cool. But we on the medicine, it's a different energy, because when you're on the medicine and you're surrounded by people, it now becomes spiritual warfare. Do you understand? It's now spiritual warfare, because now we're not in the physical anymore. We're in the spirit. So now you're dealing with ancestors. You're dealing with spiritual ancestors. So what if my ancestors would have been at war with somebody who's right in the camp with their ancestors in the 1500s? I was there with Spaniards. Nigga said he was from Spain. I was there with Argentina. I was there with Turkey. I was there with Israel. Come on, fam. I was there with fucking all of the people that went against the Moors. Every single one of them was at that camp. They was playing the bro. Wait till I put this this mini documentary out. So whenever I see the floods going down and I see shit going crazy, I'm like, fam, I already knew it was gonna happen. I already knew it was gonna happen because it was going down in the spirit realm. Okay. I'm walking through Bogota. They looking at the God like, you know, I got all my shit on. They looking at the God like, what the fuck? Like that they didn't see a breed. They never saw a brand of nigga like this before. I'm a different breed. They never seen a breed of nigga like this on their land, bro. I'm not a passport, bro. They knew that immediately. Okay. Even when I took the look at the people in the back looking, right? Because allegedly, when I took a picture with homie, right? Because he kept looking at me when I was making moves and whatnot, and he was talking to the other dude in Spanish. So instead of me looking at, because it could have went left. It could have went left. So I said, yo, homie, let's take this picture and whatnot. Let's flick it up. You know what I mean? You look like somebody familiar from the States. So the people in the back is looking like, yo, the Moreno, like this is not supposed to be happening. Because apparently when I was looking for all of our people, we was in Cartagena and we was in other parts of town. Apparently in Bogota, they don't like black people like that. So and the Tim survived the whole trip. I'm still wearing them. And the Tim survived the whole trip. I'm still wearing them. So he must be well known in that area for his activities and whatnot, because they was looking at it like, damn. And I don't even think people like this supposed to be taking pictures. If you could read through what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? If you could read through what I'm talking about, but it ain't where you from, it's where you at. So A alike, C alike, B alike. He was like, nah, I'm a fuck with the Moreno. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, why wouldn't he? You know, why wouldn't he? Right? So they just got certain things going on in some of these places that, you know, I don't put my personal politics in it. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of shit is what it is in Colombia and Mexico, all over. I don't get into the personal politics. They do not like passport bros. No, they don't. No, they don't. So they kind of knew that I wasn't one, but you know, my energy definitely was letting them know I'm moving differently. I ain't moving with no exploitation and no crazy shit. Like I'm locking in. What's popping? You know? And then when I left my final day in the airport, you feel me? I had to throw the Garvey on. This is my last day in the airport. I had to throw the Garvey on and walk through that bitch ice grilling them because they was making me feel like they don't respect us in this airport. They was making me feel like they don't respect our gangster in this airport. And I'm talking about wearing Africa on my chest with Garvey on it with a medallion that don't look like some nigga chain from the middle of the mall. They was looking like me like I was the voodoo man. They was looking at me like I was the voodoo man. And you know what? I didn't have a problem with that. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, you know what? Y'all need to get shook up every now and then, because y'all need to stop fucking with our people and just know like the truth is coming like a wave. Garvey said, look for me in a whirlwind. I was in that airport and I let him know I'll be back, niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all gonna stop playing with our people, nigga. I'll be back. You gonna feel me? Huh? Y'all gonna stop playing with our people. And Abuela, it was the Abuela that told me. Abuela, her spirit told me what the fucking deal was. Her spirit told me what the deal was. She was like, please get us some get back. We need to get back up because them people got their boot on our necks. Them Bad Bunny niggas, they got their boot on our necks. You know what I'm talking about? All of them Sad Bunnies and whatnot, they got their boot on our necks. So our people need the Moors, right? Not from Spain, my nigga. They need the Moors to come through and to do a little bit of moving around and some flexing and shit. Because some of them can't really do that, but we can. Why? And my flex is only about telling the truth. I'm not here to do no arrogant nothing. I just want the truth to get out. I just want the truth to get out. I don't want nobody to be scared to live in a truth. I want to be able to say Moors in Latin America and not feel like somebody's gonna chop me up. I want to be able to say, hey, do you know about the Moors? Hey, do you know about this? Hey, do you know about that? Okay. Because this is truth be told, this is the energy right here. Like I said, I want to go to Colombia and just teach the truth. They deserve to know the truth, right? They deserve to know the truth about their history. They got a lot of our people out there not knowing their quote unquote history. So before they start telling us about this slavery narrative in South America, we got to get the story straight. Nah, señorita, no moreno, no bueno. That ain't the story, fam. No bueno. We ain't going for it. We're not going for it. Y'all are lying. Y'all have been lied to. So how the hell are you going to teach me you've been lied to? They need to see this shit. The only thing that's going to bring people together is we got to tell the truth about what happened versus what didn't happen. Who sold us out? Who was on the side of the conquistadors? You know, all of that needs to come out. Okay? The whole Americas is waking up. This is in Northwest of Mexico. This is over here. But you could put some of these women in Latin America and they could speak in the Spanish tongue. You wouldn't know the difference. You could see these women in all up and down South America. You wouldn't know the difference. You know? You wouldn't know the difference. But it's a global campaign. We waking up globally. We waking up globally. Nobody, niggas ain't waking up in a bubble and whatnot. We're waking up globally. And melanated people are going to be in favor of the world if they're not already. And a lot of time, that's why we just got to hold on, stay strong, and keep our reputations intact. You know what I'm saying? We got to move with more integrity and more character and whatnot, because the whole world is waiting on us. The whole world is betting on us. There's no other options left. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Ibrahim and them niggas and whatnot. That's the left flank. But there's no other options left. So we got to show speed and whatnot. And we got to move around this bitch like Speedy Gonzalez. Okay? We got to move around this bitch like Speedy Gonzalez. And we got to wake people up that are sleeping. And the demonstration, right, is in correcting the history first and foremost. I'm out here blackwashing shit. Okay, I'm out here blackwashing shit, and I'm taking these old pictures and I'm bringing them. I'm regentrifying them. That's what I'm doing. I'm using my tokens to regentrify these pictures and these images. I'm bringing them to life. Okay. I'm refurbishing them. I'm remastering them. I'm remixing them niggas. I invented the remix. Just start right there. And then these pictures are going to start moving. It's a movie. This is just the frames, the first and the last frames and whatnot. I'm just showing y'all the storyboard. You damn right this is a movie. I was playing with monkeys in Colombia. Pause. Niggas would be like, oh, that's only things that Indiana Jones and them do. Yo, I got the videos and everything. The monkeys was chilling with us. The monkeys was chilling with us. The monkeys, I would take a monkey over a cat or a dog in my house. Facts. The monkeys was wild. When I talk about mad cool, it looked like the monkey from Indiana Jones. He was cool like that. I was about to put a fez on his head. Little spider monkeys with swag. You know what I'm saying? Little niggas with swag, bro. Yeah, they smarter. I did not know that. You know, but I was chilling with a monkey in the camp. You know what I mean? I think he was drinking the ayahuasca too. You know what I'm saying? Because he was kind of, he had, you know, he was tapped in. You know, we got to talk about all of the battles that these crackers lost. You know what I mean? We got to break down all of the battles that they lost. We need to show them being beheaded, right? The same way that they had no problem showing our people in all type of ways for damn near 100 years in cinema. Well, now it's their time. Okay. And I know some of you Negroes are allergic to seeing white people being washed up and whatnot, but get used to it. Yeah. Your favorite South American. Yeah, your favorite South American. You know what I mean? Dr. motherfucking Sabi. Alfredo Bowman, my niggas. Yeah, how about it? Cured AIDS on you niggas. Cured AIDS on you. Yeah, he's from South America. Okay? Spoke fluent Spanish. Spoke fluent Spanish. There's Dr. Sabi's all up and down Latin America. He spoke fluent Spanish. Okay? A South American, a Latin American. That's who you looking at right here. He spoke fluent. I think Spanish might have been his first language. So there's a lot of his energy in the Americas. Yeah, that cartoon coming. We working, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to play games. I'm not even here to waste your time. I'm not even here to take up space. You know? Yeah, a bunch of our speakers speak Spanish. You better speak some type of language other than English. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't speak Spanish out the country. I was embarrassed. I felt like a derente that all that I knew was English. That wasn't a flex. That wasn't a flex. My peoples are polymaths and whatnot. I come from a bloodline that they spoke multiple languages. I'm lacking. Yeah, he's from Honduras. You know, I should have had more than one language under my belt. Okay. Go to Asia next. We should be going to Japan. You know, I'm Africa is my next on my. I was watching the I Show Speed. He was reviewing his trip and whatnot to Africa, and yeah, Africa is definitely on the slate. Kenya, Joburg, talking about Ethiopia, Ghana, Benin. My dad, he did his DNA. We got the Benin links. Okay. So, you know, that's definitely a part of this whole year is just traveling. You know, this whole year is about the travel. You know, don't eat the local food. Oh man. That's what I'm saying. It's about traveling. I just got to deal with this plane thing. You know, I don't want to do 12 hours on a bird, you know what I'm saying? And I damn sure don't want to get on no ship, not with the Leviathan waking up. So we gonna figure it out. You know what I'm talking about? We gonna figure it out. They might have to do me like the nigga from the A-Team. Yeah, just knock me out and wake me up when we get there, because I'm good. I don't want to be looking out the window and they're like, yeah, another 10 hours we'll be in Ghana. The fuck? Because the trip there is one thing, it'd be the trip back. It'd be the trip back. Yeah, we need to get them stargates open again. It'd be the trip back. You know what I mean? That's the shit that gets on my nerves. The trip there is one thing. It's the trip back. I got to do 14 hours back. Okay. And then I'm going through customs and they doing biometric scans. Okay. All right. How bad do you want it? You know? How bad do you want it? You know? But yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all here. We'll be back before Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to say that we do have a lecture coming up. Let me go ahead and play that commercial and throw the QR code up there. Give y'all the opportunity to come and shop with us. You know what I mean? Blue Pill is not gonna be in class on Saturday only because he is currently in New York. He went out there to do something with Nicholas, and the snowstorm came out of nowhere. So he's there until Sunday. He had to do the lecture at Sunday. He don't have his computer. He didn't think that he was going to be out there that long. So, you know, we're going to make it up. Blue is going to probably do his segment on when he comes back, and then we'll upload that together. But yeah, I got this shit from right now. I'm gonna cook. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all don't got nothing to worry about. I'm gonna give y'all a good solid 4 hours of some fire, you know. So y'all tap in for that. Let's go to the commercial. We be right back.
When in Rome, I was thrown on a throne made of stone.
Red sky over cobblestone roads. Fire horse run where the river won't flow. I was just a kid with a crown in my head, counting every step, trying to outrun dread.
When in Rome, I was thrown on a throne made of stone.
Red sky over cobblestone roads. Fire horse run where the river won't flow. I was just a kid with a crown in my head, counting every step, trying to outrun dread. Cards on the table, kings in the hall, gold on the marble, names on the wall. They said, boy, you were born for the war. I said, I'm just trying to find a fire source. Racing through the ruins in my veins, of course. Every time they change me, I just change the course. Can't burn me out.
Saturday, February 28th, when in Rome, prepare for the Fire Horse Apocalypse featuring twin pillars, red and the blue pills. Witness the glory of the Fire Horse blazing at the edge of apocalypse.
Yeah, we're gonna have a we're gonna put out an album with all of the songs that y'all been hearing on the show. It's gonna be like a mixtape for KTL, the platform. You know what I mean? There's a lot of songs that y'all are familiar with, going all the way to the Fax remix with the 44 Tops. Every song that we played as an intro, all of those songs are going to be on this upcoming project. Just give me some time. Like I said, I got Open Claw working for me now. I got I'm working on getting 100 agents on my team. You know what I'm talking about? So as soon as that happens, shit is going to really step up. Y'all are going to see this platform quantum leap in the next 6 months on God. And, you know, we're not going to do it on our own. We're going to We're going to share it. We're going to show people how to level up. We're going to show people how to fire their boss. We're going to show people how to get off of this grid and to become digital nomads. We're going to show people how to become a generator, operator, destroyer, right? How to use the AI and not abuse the AI and not be used by the AI, you know? But let me go. Let me get in. Let me get in my bag. And I shit you not. This information is going to benefit anybody who uses it. Okay. Anybody who uses it for their advantage. Like I said, the AI shit has hit another level. It's another level that we're in. We might have been on level 2. We're on level 3 right now. So the conversation has to be had. I'll cover it in the apocalypse because it's a part of the fire horse. Aries is in Neptune. Aries is in Neptune. So that means the technology, I don't care who tries to go against it. The technology is going to go crazy. It's going to expand. It's going to blow up. That is exactly what's happening right now. The shit is working and it's doing things that has not been possible for forever. Forever. So I don't want to talk. I'd rather show you. You know what I mean? We'll see you on Saturday. Let me throw this up again. Anybody that throws more than a dub, y'all get in the class. Y'all get to get in the lecture. The ones who buy the full price, you're going to get a book, an ebook that's going to with your ticket. That's a bonus and whatnot. So am I going to break down how to operate OpenClaw at the lecture? Yep. I'm going to have like a 30-40 minute segment on the lecture on OpenClaw. Really agentic AI is just that OpenClaw is kind of like the first ones, like how ChatGPT is a chat bot. So it caught the title of whenever somebody is talking about a chat bot, they're saying ChatGPT. Well, that's the same thing that happened with OpenClaw. They happen to be the first ones that popped out to show everybody what you can do with agentic AI. So now everybody's calling agentic AI OpenClaw, or when they, you know what I mean? But you got ChemiClaw, you got OpenClaw, you got NanoClaw, you got so many different claws. You got Manus AI, Perplexity just put something out, Claw just put something out, bro. And OpenClaw is open source. So what does open source mean? Open source means that you in the audience could take the code and you could tweak it and make your own version of it. That's what an open code is. It's almost like somebody saying, you know, my rhyme book is in the library. What? My rhyme book is in the library for everyone to read. But don't take my rhymes verbatim, just tweak it a bit and your ass could have a hot ass song. That's what that's what GitHub is. That's what GitHub is, a repository of rhymes for niggas that want to rap. Okay? It's a repository of code for people that want to build, for people that want to create, for people that want to make something, not break something, not shake something. The ones that want to make something. So shout out to all of my makers. Shout out to all of my creators. Shout out to all of my developers. Y'all was the niggas saving the world anyway. And you're going to still, that's what you're going to still be doing. Y'all was the ones saving this shit anyway. Shout out to my blurs. Shout out to my smart niggas. Right? Because y'all the ones that been saving this shit anyway. And y'all need y'all props. Fuck a flower. You need a rose garden. Fuck flowers die. I don't want no flowers. Flowers die and roses smell like doo-doo. You know what I'm talking about? Forget about giving me my flowers. You know what I mean? Forget about giving the master teachers and the intellects their flowers. They need something more than that. They need something more than that. This whole world. Look at all of the people waking up. Telling the truth and dropping knowledge and dropping bars is America's favorite pastime. I've shown you the Rainbow Coalition. Every single color is out here putting out videos that could have melted the internet 10 years ago. Them little 1 minute videos that I be showing, we so spoiled and whatnot. Some of that shit would have melted the server 10, 20 years ago. You know? It would have. So this is what we got going on. We got the lecture on Saturday, right? One of the first lectures of the year. This is dedicated to my Patreons who I got to feed every month because y'all hold it down. You know what I mean? Y'all vote with your dollars and whatnot. Salute to all of the Patreons. You know what I'm talking about? If you want to join the Patreon, it's nothing but a sign up. You know what I mean? You're going to get blessed and whatnot. That's where we give a lot of information. And then we have the quote unquote Imaginarium. And what the Imaginarium is a 90-day accelerator where we're bringing people together, creatives and whatnot, visionaries, Afrofuturists. And what are we doing? We're creating out of our imagination the future. We're using our imagination to build the future. And we just so happen to be doing this workshop right around the time where Sea Dance 2 dropped and Cling 3.1 dropped, and the future is here when it comes to filmmaking. The future is here when it comes, you want the SKOOL community link? The future is here when it comes to filmmaking, okay? And you could click on that QR code above the live sign for the SKOOL link and whatnot. Hit it with your phone, the QR code. So yeah, so we're making movies, short films, videos, cartoons, comics, prototypes for toys, anything that we want to do that's in our mind, any asset that we want to monetize, any story that you want to bring to life, you now can do it and whatnot. But we're showing you every step in what to do it. We're going to help you with the frameworks. We're showing people how to use Claude Code, Claude Cowork, Claude. We're showing them how to use agentic AIs like KimiBot, like Manus AI to do what? To make the fucking movie. I'm not about to sit around and make a movie. I got shit to do. I'm gonna let the AI do it. You know, that's what they built it for. I'm gonna let the AI do it. So we're at that point in the game. I got things to do. I'm not about to sit around and just make a movie and whatnot, but I do have the movie idea and I'm going to feed it the movie idea and it's going to make it for me. And then I'll tweak it. I'll tweak it to its parameters. I'll tweak it to perfection. But the heavy lifting and all of that, we tired. We's tired. Like the girl in what's her name? Harpo. Well, Harpo, I was tired. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to chill in a hammock and sip on some samosa and listen to Scorpion King while the AI gets to twerking. You know what I mean? We're at that point in the game. Okay. So just know, if you really want to move like a real chief on the land, you know what I'm talking about? If you really want to move like a real chief on the land, you got to set up the systems to move like that. You got to get up off your ass and get this shit popping. Stop sitting around talking that shit and you ain't building nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You niggas can't even build an app. You know what I mean? So if you really want to boss up, then you got to build something right. You got to. If y'all sit around and watch us bring people to Stone Mountain, why y'all not sitting around and bringing people to build nothing? Why y'all not doing the same fucking bird call and getting people to build on the land? If y'all seen us bring thousands of people to Stone Mountain, but you niggas are sitting around sneak dissing and hating, but y'all never brought nobody outside. Fuck out of here with all. To this day.
To this day. To this day.
Niggas sat around and made mad videos about us, talking about we cult leaders and all of this stupid shit. But I ain't see one nigga give a bird call out yet to get they people up out their house to do something. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas ain't sent a bird call out yet for nobody to come outside and do nothing. So what are you talking about, fam? All of this talk in this community about people doing stuff. Where? When? What are you doing? Man. Astaghfirullah, bro. Astaghfirullah. Let's give some sea moss. Let's get a word from our sponsors and whatnot. And let's go. And we be back.
VCL in my cup, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Flow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. VCL in my cup, I'm feeling right. Sip to the sunrise, dance to the night. From the ocean's kiss to your city lights. 21 flavors, pure health in every bite. Drip so clean, we're custom made. From reef to street, we elevate. Gold green gel, set the record straight. Nature in a bottle, that's a better way. Charge me up, no caffeine crash. Clean energy, steady splash. From skin to gut, yeah, we live from within. Wellness on 10, let the rhythm begin. Pour it up, pour it up. Feel the wave, body thanking me. Every save, ocean wisdom in this glass. We sell magic, CMOS. VCL in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. Island breeze in the city maze. We're mineral rich in 1,000 ways. Immunity high like the summer rays. Hydrate the hustle, fuel your days. Berry, mango, ginger, lime. Pick your flow, your flavor, your time. Beauty and balance we redefine. Every little sip, align your shine. Wait up, feel the way, body thanking me. Every sip, ocean wisdom in this glass. We sell magic, CMOS. VCL in my car, I'm feeling boss. 21 flavors powered by CMOS. Glow from within, yeah, we never fall off. Count it up, 99 minerals, flaws. From the coral choir to the heartbeat drum. Roots run deep where the wild tides hum. Real ones know where the glow comes from. VCL in the mix now, watch us.
Keep in mind, when it comes to the VCL CMOS, we are offering affiliate. We're offering referrals, so you could sell it in your part of town. You could sell it to your network. You could make some extra cash and whatnot. You even could have the babies out there with the, you know how they got the lemonade stand? You could have the CMOS, the VCL stand. You could go door to door with VCL in your city and whatnot and get them inside of health food stores. You could get them inside of all of those juice bars and all of the smoothie bars and all of that. It's a gel that you could literally take a spoon and eat right out the gel, right out the jar. How many people in here have the CMOS and y'all could basically vouch for the taste? Because it look good, but do it taste good? Do it taste good? Hear what I'm talking about? Because that's literally what you could be doing right now, especially if you're in the United States of America, because it's a live product, we can't ship it overseas because it would perish, right? But it is a live product, you know? It is a live product. So it is alive. We got gummies, we got CMOS gel. We have products for men and women to help them with their vitality and their brain fog called A Game. Like, yeah, we got some stuff over here for you, family. And then Blue Pill got product. Okay. How much discount? You're gonna have to send out the email. You'll get all of that in the response. Okay, you'll get all of that when the people reach back to you and they accept you, and you'll find out the wholesale and all of that. And it's very reasonable. You feel me? So my mothers that are out there, my homeschoolers that are out there, the people who have networks and whatnot, it's not a color thing. Everybody is gonna like this. It's not a color thing. It's not a conscious thing. It's CMOS. They got CMOS in Whole Foods. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? We could have capitalized on that shit. That was our brand. That could have been $1 billion brand, $1 billion product, $1 billion quote unquote niche that melanated people could have owned on some cartel like shit. Okay, the CMOS cartel, but they got it in Whole Foods. So yeah, they putting that shit in their factories and whatnot, and they're running with the cloth. So it's time that we start grabbing shit and owning it and being a part of something, even if we don't own the brand, because they said the new generation don't want to work. And I seen it too. The new generation is wild entitled. Them niggas don't want to work. They want to sit around and steal what the fuck you're doing and try to judge you and what the fuck you're doing but they don't got nothing. These are the most don't got nothing niggas who talking about what other people don't got in my life. I never seen no shit like that. I mean, the psychosis is troubling to me. You know, the hell? But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm going to leave on that. I'm going to just leave it on that word. You know what I mean? The most non-working, non-motherfucking don't want to do nothing. You get somebody to work with you. They'll work with you for 3 days and just start complaining and shit about what they're not going to do, what they can't do. My face hurts. My back hurts. My toe hurts. If you niggas don't get out of... Man, I don't know what the fuck. Who do we blame? Well, what the fuck? That's why the robots came and replaced you niggas, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like the movie Avengers, when it was, you know what I mean? When it was all, when it was nothing left. We looked over the hills and here was the AI on camels and whatnot because y'all don't want to work. Because y'all so entitled. Y'all don't want to put in mad work. Y'all don't want to get y'all hands dirty. You know? Y'all don't want to do no heavy lifting and whatnot. Y'all don't want to get y'all cuticles dirty. So Kimmy Claus like moved them niggas out of here. You know, Open Claw was like, I got this. You know? And that's where we at with it. The AI had to come because humans were not humaning. You know what I'm saying? So here we are. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you on the next broadcast. Peace, love, and light. Y'all stay.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields. And interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube. And fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Mex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums, like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys, popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like porch lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched tight. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit.